Okay. Hello, hello. Hopefully things are working. Good morning from St. Louis. It's 7:30 a.m. This is going to be round 5 of the candidates. The games are actually starting right now, apparently, in the present moment. But there is a 15-minute broadcast delay, so the moves should be coming in about 15 minutes from now. Welcome to everyone who's already here in YouTube. How many people were in YouTube chat? Over 50 people waiting.
Long time.
But the wait is over. Welcome back to Brigham. Long time. Hope you're doing well. Happy 59 months. Welcome to everyone across Twitch and YouTube. I have a fun thing in store. Hopefully it'll be fun. Something a little bit unrelated to candidates. But I think it should be a fun way to kill time leading up to the games. It's a new custom website, which is still maybe technically in beta. I've not tested it yet on stream. So I'm going to switch tabs here. I do have Lichess open, have the candidates games. Again, that will start pretty soon. But I have a different tab. Let me switch the scene here in OBS. Hopefully I'm not leaking anything. So this is going to be an experiment. But this is going to be a battle between Twitch and YouTube chat. Also, thank you, Fries and Ketchup, subbing with Prime on Twitch. So I could explain how this works, but I could also just let people maybe try and figure out and observe how it works. I have the settings here, which I already kind of plugged in. Let's just start. Let's see what happens. The most notable thing, there's 15 seconds per move. I've done similar things before in the past, just on Twitch. So once I click this button, Twitch chat should be ready. Oh, they're already typing moves. Okay. Okay, what move are we going to have first? So far, it appears to be working. There is some minor latency with the stream, but looks like D4. Now it's YouTube's turn. Oh dear. Is YouTube working? Oh no, my YouTube. Oh, there's some latency. I might have to increase the move time. Well, it looks like this is working. Go team YouTube. Thank you, Brooms. Welcome back. I did set my stream to like ultra low latency on YouTube. Bishop e6. So I have the power to ban a move if people start trolling, but Bishop e6 is kind of a funny move. Looks like knight f6 is going to be played. There might be bugs with this. It's possible this isn't perfect, but at least we're having a game. The most important thing is that we're having fun. So knight c3, okay. Someone says bong cloud in all caps. No votes for king d7 just yet. We have a normal opening. This is a position we could maybe eventually see in the candidates. a4. Please don't play a4. Also, it's 1 vote per user. So if you spam multiple moves, I actually don't know how it works if like your most recent move overwrites the previous moves. Oh dear. Can I ban? Ban. Okay, I banned king d7. Let's keep it in normal territory. Oh dear. I think there's, oh gosh, king d2. I think there is some bug with the moves coming in. Maybe I should participate. Bishop e7. Okay. No counter Bon Cloud. King e3. Wait, who's doing this? Oh, that's Brigham. Okay, we'll let Brigham do what he wants. Long-time subscriber. Okay, white has a more active king. I feel like I'm running a daycare, and I'm not doing my best at supervising all the young children running around and misbehaving. Yeah, I think we need to increase the time because the stream latency is not allowing... Wow. Nice move, 95 check. Yeah, it might require some debugging here. Oh, I could pause too. So if I pause, do votes still come in? Looks like maybe they do. Yeah, there's different methods with how YouTube and Twitch like fetches the moves, I think. G3, oh dear. G3 is actually a normal move. Delayed Catalan. If I click back to settings, I'm not sure if it resets the game. King F4. Okay, well... King F4 or Bishop G2? F4? I didn't see F4 as a vote there, but... Okay, knight BD7. So far, black is playing a bit more traditionally. Okay, so if I pause, the moves will still come in. So I could give YouTube more time. I'm also realizing YouTube is black. Twitch is white. Oh, happy Passover. Thanks for the super chat, ZJ. Yeah, 'tis a season of matzah. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so votes are still coming in. Again, it's 1 vote per user. I could change the settings to give unlimited votes per user. That could actually make things a bit more wild. Also, if you're just joining, Candidates starts in about 7 minutes. Currently, we're doing a battle between Twitch and YouTube chat. So depending what platform you're watching on, if you want to type in a move in chat, again, this isn't perfect. There's some latency, I think, with the streams, but also with the moves being fetched. But at least we're having some entertainment. We also have the eval bar, which is nice. So white's actually just winning here. Yeah, YouTube blundered a piece. White has good center control. .95 normal move. Ah. Okay, it looks like YouTube is loading moves that were previously said. So yeah, it looks like there's still some work to be done with the development. Again, this is the first experimental test, but at least we're getting so far a game. White with a very sizable advantage. Yeah, it looks like Twitch maybe has an unfair advantage because the moves are actually coming in a bit more cleanly. Bishop takes d8 or queen takes d8 or resign. Oh, if resign is a legal move. Uh-oh, people are spamming resign in YouTube chat. Self-destructing is maybe going to happen. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is it unanimous? I'm actually not sure how it works. If resign is the most popular vote, there's also a draw offer. YouTube resigned. Okay. Well, congratulations, YouTube, for discovering how to resign. GG. Is there a way to... Oh yeah, so now I don't think I can analyze here, but I can click this and it'll carry me over to chess.com. I guess I have to modify the layout. I don't know if we want to analyze this game though. It would be funny if we see this position today in the candidates. Didn't Pragg play this? Pragg played this against Bluebaum. Pragg was black, he played a6. Anyway, hopefully that was a fun warm-up. I hope people enjoy that. Big thank you to the developer who I think will still be working on improving the viewer experience, maybe specifically for YouTube. But yeah, it's been a dream for a while to have a game where Twitch can play YouTube. And it is hard to, I guess, create a perfectly seamless experience, but hopefully we'll get closer. Again, I hope people had fun with that. Okay, so candidates will be starting in just a couple minutes. Are you covering the whole session? I'll be covering probably at least the first couple hours. There will almost certainly be at least one, maybe multiple special guests joining the stream. I don't want to spoil anything just yet, but I do have... I have an empty Zoom call currently waiting for some guests to join. And yeah, for anyone just tuning in, this is round 5 of the candidates. There is a sole leader, Caruana-Sindarov. Today he is black against Hikaru. Sindarov has 3.5 out of 4. Pretty amazing start, given... And is he the youngest in the field? I think he's the youngest in the field, right? How old is Pragg? He's 20 years old. It's his first candidates. He beat Fabi in round 4. Hikaru has had a disappointing tournament so far, losing to Fabi in round 1, where he could have actually saved the game from a losing position. And then round 4, he was beating Wei Yi and fumbled in a winning position. So I assume most people have like some idea of what's been happening in candidates. Let me know in chats who you're rooting for. I will say I'm not entirely neutral. I am rooting for the Americans. Go Hikaru, go Fabiano. I know Bluebaum has a lot of fans. We're going to see the continuation of the Bluebaum draw sweep. Bluebaum has drawn all his games so far. And he's the lowest rated player in the field, or at least tied for lowest with Esipenko, so draws will net him rating points. Okay, we have moves. E4 from Fabi. I didn't give my opening predictions. I would have predicted knight f3 on move 1. Here we have a delayed knight f3. Thank you, Killager. Happy 3 years. Oh, it's a Petrov. Okay, so Fabi definitely prepared this, because Bluebaum played the Petrov in round 2 against Sindarov. By the way, Bluebaum is the only player to draw Sindarov this tournament. Fabi just blitzing out. Wait, knight c4. This is what, isn't this what Sindarov played? Against Bluebaum? Also, thank you, Sir Benke. I'm going to open a new tab here and bring up the round 2 game that they played. This was from a few days ago. Oh, it was knight d3. Okay. So it's a slightly different variation. Yeah, from an amateur perspective, moves like knight d3 or knight c4 are not the most, I'd say, easy to understand. Like, they're pretty disharmonious, especially in the king's pawn opening, where usually your bishop wants to be unblocked. But the point is, okay, when white plays knight d3, the point is to put the knight on f4. When white plays knight c4, I guess the knight is going to just kind of chill here. Yeah, I'm not sure how to explain this move to like an amateur player. Like, why does the knight want to be here? You don't really imagine it coming to e3. I guess there's cases where, let's say, like takes and takes, then white will have pretty stable development. If ever d5, maybe the knight returns e5. Thank you, Nate K. Happy 57 months. So I want to keep this stream pretty chill and also be guided by the viewers if there's games you want me to take a look at. Oh my gosh. We might have the same position from the Twitch versus YouTube chat game. Never mind. E4 from Hikaru. If this and this, they'd be following the famous game played about 10 minutes ago between Twitch and YouTube. But going back from the start, so this started as a Queen's Gambit, declined, semi-Slav. And in this specific move order, okay, knight f3 is probably like the standard approach, which can go into like the main lines, sometimes maybe go for Cambridge Springs. But e4 is actually a very ambitious variation. And it's actually the start of a potential gambit too, where if black takes and takes, I mean, this is the main line, bishop b4, bishop d2, and queen takes d4. And this is arguably one of the craziest, like, theoretical variations I've seen. There's a really weird idea. Let's see if I can remember how it goes. Bishop takes b4, takes. Is it knight e2? I think it's knight e2, knight a6, and then, yeah, so in this position, bishop f8 is actually the best move. Very few openings you get this, where the king can't take. This could very likely happen in the game too.
Situation.
Is Hikaru in a must-win situation? I wouldn't call it must-win. It's a long tournament. Like, anything can happen, but given that he's playing the tournament leader and he's had a slow start, he's probably going to be more ambitious than usual. So if this happens, Hikaru can say, "Oh no, my bishop. Someone call an ambulance, but not for me." So it's a kind of funny mating idea. It's also kind of awkward for black to defend the g7 pawn. Actually, the best move is not to defend the pawn, play knight e7, lose a pawn, and then get some active play. Actually, knight b4, giving the rook, but threatening knight c2. Yeah, the lines can get super, super crazy. Also, they're blitzing out. So they actually went into this. After e4, Sindarov took and played bishop e4. So it is officially a gambit. I think this is called the Marshall Gambit. Yeah, there's a few different Marshall Gambits in chess. The more popular one is in the Spanish. But this is a different one. Okay, so bishop e2 is played. Yeah, knight e2 and bishop e2 are the two playable moves. Knight e2 leads into the lines with bishop f8. Bishop e2 leads into lines where g2 is potentially hanging. Okay, black starts by attacking the bishop. And now, yeah, now bishop f8, it still looks playable because there's still the mating idea and g7's attacked. But I don't think this is as good because g2 is hanging. And then black can take and defend g7. Compare that to the other line with the bishop still on f1, then g2 would not be hanging. Okay, so Hikaru plays bishop d6. Sindarov takes. So this is all definitely still preparation from both sides. Bishop f3. Queen g5. And knight e2. Okay, so this is good sign from Hikaru. He's blitzing. Sindarov has taken over 5 minutes. But it's probably still pretty clear that both players are in prep. Knight e7 played relatively quickly. And I do want to say that I'm going to start by not using the engine. I know some people very much like having the eval bar to get a sense of the engine evaluation. At some point, I might turn on the engine or eval bar, but at least for the openings, I stay away from it. Sometimes it's good to have some mystery. And even if I turned on the engine, it would not give us that much insight because both players are still in prep. There's a good question from Tom in YouTube chat. If it's prep, why does Sindarov think a little bit? This is very common where players still maybe take some time, even if they've seen the position before. This is the case with Fabiano. Fabiano, his game against Giri, he was still in prep. He knew the best engine move, but he took like 10 to 20 minutes because he was trying to remember what he had seen before. And there's many times where like you want to make sure that you're remembering correctly and that you are still understanding the position as well. I've made the mistake before of sometimes playing too quickly where I thought I was in prep, but I wasn't. And there's times where players will be in prep, but maybe they've analyzed a couple different options and they're trying to determine which option makes the most sense for the current game situation and tournament situation. So sometimes you don't know exactly what state the player is in until the post-game interview. And some players don't like to reveal that much in the post-game interviews regarding opening prep. I was actually surprised. Sindarov was very revealing after he beat FADE. He said that the line that he got against FADE, he reviewed like 10 minutes before the game, which is pretty crazy that he was able to predict it. So we can toggle on the database. Wow, so this is already like very rare territory. Let's just see the opening stats. Bishop a5, a little bit more popular, but bishop d6, yeah, definitely a critical move. Okay, so it looks like Hikaru is playing some of the secondary moves, like not the most common moves. Main line is queen d2, which I'm a little bit curious about because it sacrifices a rook. How does this go? Queen takes h1? Is there a tactic I'm missing? The knight's hanging. Oh, maybe just castling. And there's going to be pressure on the d-file, and bishop f3 threatens to trap the queen. This is where I'll check the engine just to make sure I'm understanding correctly, but this looks like full compensation. Yeah, bishop f3. We can also press X to see the threat. Well, bishop a3 even, just unleashing the battery. There's a question about the engine I'm using, because, yeah, chess hair is maybe foreign to some people. This is an external, I think we can consider it a cloud engine. There's a developer that reached out to me that basically programmed an extension. You connect with Lichess, and that way when I run the engine, it doesn't consume my computer's resources. And I think it's also stronger than if I ran the engine locally on my computer. So I'm sure people can find it via Google. It's also useful on my phone too. So if I use Lichess to run Stockfish on my phone, then my phone just gets drained by the battery and overheats. But this is not an ad. They have not paid me. It's just a cool service that maybe hardcore chess fans can find useful. Okay, so I wanted to keep going with opening theory. Bishop f3. So still been played before. Oh, Abdusattorov against Arjun, most notable game. 2023. Knight g3. Okay, castling is very rare. You can maybe see what happened between Abdusattorov and Arjun. e5 was played. Yeah, super double-edged dynamic position. White ended up winning this game. Yeah, going back to the current game, it looks like castling was not part of Hikaru's prep. Or if it was, it probably wasn't the primary prep. So that's why we see Hikaru taking his first long think, spent over 4 minutes at this point. Now, I'm actually wondering, there's maybe a small improvement I can make with the viewing experience, because when I analyze, I know it's slightly annoying that I'm not showing the live game position. Bear with me one moment. I'm going to do some custom modification. Let's see if this works. So Lichess has actually enabled this, I think within the last year or two, where we have the live board here. Maybe this is preferred, so when I analyze, people can still see the current game state. I didn't want to make the scene too cluttered, but I hope this will be a useful improvement. So obviously the board's matched because this is the current position. Okay, looks like chat approves. Again, I appreciate everyone being here. This is a slightly experimental stream. I don't usually cover top tournaments live, but and this is like the most important tournament of the year so far, so I've been watching it a lot off stream, so I figured why not? Why not offer my insights? Can someone explain the ideas of compensation in this position? Looks like black is 2 pawns up. Yeah, it's true that, okay, going back, black won the d pawn, and then won the g pawn, and white has not regained material. Also, black's castled, white's uncastled. So when it comes to evaluating and trying to maybe determine the levels of compensation, there are generally a few common factors which give one side compensation for material. Very often it's piece activity, lean development, king safety, weaknesses. In this case, even though white's uncastled, there's maybe some argument that black's king is more in danger because white has more development and more piece activity. I mean, all the minor pieces are developed. Black is definitely lacking harmony here with the knight on a6, bishop undeveloped and blocked in. The knight attacked by the bishop, also pinned. The queen is tied down. On top of that, the queen is potential target, like rook g1 ideas, h4 ideas, knight e4 ideas. So the compensation could potentially be very concrete, where if white gets some initiative, some forcing sequence, it's very possible white could be winning back material. Also, long term, it seems a bit difficult for black to untangle. Like, how do you actually develop the queen side? This bishop, even though it's staring at the pawn chain, it's hard for black to actually like fianchetto the lights for a bishop ever. Black is probably ready to play rook d8 and pin along the d file. So it is up to Hikaru to find a move here. And the first candidate moves are probably knight e4, h4, just directly attacking the queen. At first it looks like knight e4 wins material, because you attack the queen, and it has to stay defending the knight. I guess there is queen h4, or queen a5 check. I guess h4, also queen a5 check. And then it's just a hypothetical h4, queen a5, king f1. Then rook e8 is maybe possible, and white would want to take, and then checkmate, but the queen actually is useful on a5, covering d8. So this is not actually winning. Also, do people mind like when I analyze the board kind of dims, changes to a desaturated color? I'm not sure if I can change that in my settings, but I would maybe prefer the board to stay consistent. Oh, variation opacity. Wait, so if I play... No, I don't want to do that. I'm not sure. Oh, what about b4? Let's imagine here, b4. Oh, that's a good point. Because the queen and knight are both attacked. Is there queen d8? Also, maybe this, sack the knight and double check. The rook's still attacked. Yeah, if this were a blitz game, I'd probably play h4. Looks like the most natural forcing move. Keeps black on the defensive. But knight e4 is also a consideration. Knight e4, queen h4. I wouldn't be surprised if Hikaru takes like a very long think here. Potentially over 20 minutes. Well, you look at other games too. Yes. Yeah, if there's games people want me to take a look at. I'd started with a Fabiano game. And when I switch... Okay, so when I switch the board, then it updates the live board too. That's good. So it looked like Fabiano got the first opening surprise with this knight c4 line. Bluebaum took 6 minutes here. Yeah, earlier I was trying to explain the knight on c4 and saying if d5, maybe the knight returns here. But the knight actually goes to e3, which looks a little bit strange. Also, Vampire Chicken, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Happy 70 months. Shout out to Vampire Chicken. I feel like one of the last times there was tournament commentary on this channel, Vampire Chicken was taking over. Yeah, we have the Jonathan command still. Okay, so knight on e3, even though it blocks the bishop, it pressures a pawn. It looks like one of the ideas might be to play c4 and exert maximum pressure against d5. Bluebaum plays c6. Bishop d2. The only legal move for the dark square bishop. This is a sign that Fabiano might be preparing casting queenside. Staying flexible with this bishop. g6. f4. Man. Honestly, I don't think I could have predicted like Fabiano's last 3 moves. Like knight e3, bishop d2, and f4 just seem unnatural. But clearly this is still prep for him. He's used 92 seconds off his clock. Is this the first game that Fabiano has a time advantage out of the opening? Like a significant time advantage. I think every game in this tournament, he was either out-prepped or like second-guessing his prep. Even against Hikaru. But this is a good sign from Fabi. And he ended the sweep of draws from Bluebaum. Let's check the opening database. So I have to keep an eye on my messages too. I just realized I'm wearing a chess.com shirt commentating on Lee Chess. But I consider myself friendly with all the platforms. So delayed bird opening. No games in the master's database. Also, hello to my wife. I see you in YouTube chat. Hope you're doing well, baby. Hope everyone's doing well. We are about, what, half hour into candidates coverage? Already some spicy openings? So, first of all, how uncommon is knight c4? Second most played move. A bit more common than knight d3. On lichess, the second most common move is a Caution Gambit, which I think Magnus played against Dingler-Ren, some St. Louis Rapid and Blitz years ago. I remember Magnus just getting crushed as white. Okay, so let's check master database. So knight c3, another secondary move. d5 is a secondary move. So the players stray away from mainline theory pretty quickly. I saw this name Lev Ronin. I feel like that's a potential name you get when you combine like Levy and Rosen. Not sure if that made any sense though. Okay, so c6, bishop d2, novelty. How many players played bishop d2 on lichess? Can we find Fabi's secret anonymous lichess account through using this opening database? So bishop d2 is the fourth most common move, played 71 times, 4% of games. So they're following a game between two players rated in the range of 2200. But f4 is like the real novelty. And this is new territory. So I guess I can try and explain f4. Because it looks completely unnatural. Like, why are you maybe exposing your king? Usually the pawn f4 does not combine well with the bishop on d2. The bishop is blocked in by its own pawns. The idea is, as we see in the game, put the queen behind the pawn, and almost certainly Fabi wants to play f5. And he's already preparing for a kingside attack. Usually when you have this structure, the double pawns probably provide more benefit. Like usually in chess, double pawns have a not so great reputation, like they can't defend each other. Sometimes you think of them as weak. In this case, when the king castles queenside, the pawns provide the king a very good shelter. On top of that, okay, the d file's half open, but then once the queen goes to the queen side, then white can focus on extending on the king side. Yeah, the possibility of, let's say, castling, f5, bishop d3, push the g and h pawns. Looks fun. So maybe Bluebaum is staying flexible. Knight d7. I wonder if there's a scenario where Bluebaum castles queenside as well. Black is still kind of far away from achieving that. If you combine Levy, Rosman, and Eric Rosen, you get Levon Aronian. Touche, touche. So I'm open to looking at whatever games people want. I'm doing my best to at least scan chat, scanning for relevant questions. Oh, Chessmood recommends a Caution Gambit for beginners. Yeah, at an amateur level, like knight takes f7 is it's venomous. What are the ideas for each side in the FABI game? So I was just explaining white's ideas of attacking on the king side. Black's ideas, I'm not sure. I guess one of the benefits, or one of the downsides of playing f4, the pawn can't move backwards. So this e4 square, long term, can be in black's control. So with knight d7, maybe black wants to plant the knight on e4, maybe someday play f5. It might be hard to achieve though, like bishop d3 and f5, and white's going to have good control. Eric, what's your favorite soup? I've been asked this question before, and before I gave like wrong answers. My favorite soup is any soup my wife makes. Specifically, spinach corn soup is very good. Okay, moving on. Let's do a quick scan of the openings and other games. Pragg versus Esipenko. Uh-oh. Oh no, the live board is updating. Okay, that's good. So Pragg playing knight f3 on move 1. Bro thinks he's Fabiano. Oh, knight f3 e3. Yeah, this is Hikaru's like pet weapon in online blitz. Hikaru loves playing this like tricky, kind of slow opening, but it can lead to a lot of nice structures. Uh-oh. Wait, oh, I'm getting sound in. Oh no. Wait, do people hear that? Oh, people don't hear that. Okay. The special guest joined my Zoom call, and I didn't realize they could join without me letting them in. So bear with me one moment. I don't have a break scene, so I was getting some random voices in my ear. I was slightly startled there. Okay, so I think the special guest can hear me, but the audience can't hear the special guest. Can you hear me? Yeah, the audio is fine, I think. Oh dear. Okay, chat can speculate who the special guest is. There's already one guest for Magnus. Oh yeah, Magnus is playing Granke. Okay, let me give me one moment to like actually get your video and audio on. Would be impressive if Magnus was playing Granke and could also appear as a guest here. Pope Leo, Ben Feingold. Sorry, I'm not prepared for this. Studio mode. Okay. This is going to take probably 30 seconds if I'm optimistic. Okay, got the video. Here we go. Okay. Give me like 15 more seconds. Wait, people might be able to hear you now. I don't know though. Transition. Okay. We are joined by none other than my international wife, Irene, darling. Welcome to the stream. How's it going?
Hello. Welcome. No, I shouldn't say welcome. Hello.
I should be welcoming you.
Yes, that's right. I am at the media center right now.
Yeah, so let me give some context. You are joining from the actual location where the candidates are competing in Cyprus.
Yes.
It is, what time is it there?
It's 4:20.
Okay, nice time. So mid-afternoon. Um, yeah, it's it's nice to see you on stream. Hopefully chat can like see and hear you clearly. For anyone that is unaware, Irene is doing some great work for the St. Louis Chess Club, doing social media. Maybe you can expand on what you've been up to in Cyprus, who you're working with, who you're rooting
Okay,
for.
so I'm here for the St. Louis Chess Club. I'm not alone actually, because I'm also with my dear friend, Anastasia Karlovich. Hang on, you're here.
Hey,
Yeah.
Nastya,
Oh no, the Zoom is. Hang on.
got the blur
Okay, get in
filter.
the frame. Yes. Get in the frame. There you go.
Good to see both of you.
Morris and others will come on my birthday, which is soon. On the 4th. No, yeah, on the 7th of April, I guess. Because they're gonna be here for the second half of the tournament.
Mhm.
Because on the second half of the tournament, Fabiano and Hikaru will be playing again against each other, just different color. So yeah,
Sounds
for
good.
now, it's only me and Anastasia, but soon it will be a few others from the Soundless Chess Club.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing out. I have a little bit of FOMO, but I've been seeing the show opens from the St. Louis Chess Club channel, and yeah, you guys are doing some very nice work. Also with the player interviews as well.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any games that catch your eye this round that you want to maybe chat about?
Okay, actually, I have a clip of Hikaru because we interviewed him before the event. Anastasia and I, we asked question like if there's any chess opening that you would like to to disappear during the candidates, what would it be? And he mentioned that Petrov, which
Petrov,
happened, yeah,
including the
which happened
Stafford
in,
Gambit?
no, he didn't mention Stafford Gambit. I don't
Okay,
think it's in their radar.
probably not
I
a thought
think
that crosses his mind.
probably it's a bit too sophisticated for the candidates to play Stafford Gambit, yeah?
That's true.
But anyway, we saw Petrov in the game between Caruana versus Bluebaum.
Right. I don't know if you caught like my comments on this opening, but this is clearly some super tricky Fabiano prep that he cooked up before this game.
Oh, definitely, because yeah, I was in the venue for like 10 minutes into the game, and then yeah, Fabi was just blitzing all the moves. It seems like it is well within his preparation. So well, from the Summers Chess Club, of course, we are rooting for our American players. So hopefully he can bounce back on today's game. Yes. Yeah, because 2 days ago before the rest day, he lost to Sindarov, but there was no clear mistake, right? I mean, during the whole game, like, I don't think Fabi made like a very substantial mistake. It's just Sindarov was just playing much better.
That's true. Yeah, he got completely outclassed, which is pretty rare that we see Fabiano get crushed like that. But what Sindarov did to him, usually Fabiano does to other people, and maybe Fabiano will do to Bluebaum in this game with some high level, deep opening prep, already very exotic position.
Yep. And then we saw another Catalan, surprisingly. Is it? Yeah, it's kind of Catalan, yeah. Anish Wei.
Oh, this game I haven't looked at
Uh,
yet. Also, can you see my screen?
I can. Do you want me to just stay?
If you want to just see what I see, so then like if we want to discuss any of the games, it's a bit easier that way. I've
Yeah,
not
sure.
shown this opening yet on my stream, so maybe we can catch up if you saw this, and maybe you can give your thoughts on the opening.
Let's go to Sunday.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm just also scanning all of the games in the women's section. It's
Sure.
just anything caught my attention. One is Castle, another one is Dragon actually. What's this? This looks like not sure. This looks like 3-night. Something like 3-night. Or yeah, the 3-night opening, like the Italian with the 6, I guess. And then another one is okay, not so interesting because it looks very cool. Okay, let's get to your Zoom and then yeah, I see what you see.
I was just playing through the moves to get to the current position. I don't play this line from either color. I'm not a Catalan player, so it seems like at least the first stage is opening prep, very typical line.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah.
Do you play this from the black side?
Yeah.
At some point in my life, I
Thanks a lot.
should play this position. Yeah, because I played all sort of Catalan as black.
Yeah, we can see by the time management. Looks like Giri took the first extended thing by before taking on c5. But there's still. Oh, actually,
This is not.
c5 is pretty rare.
I have to charge my.
Solange ich will, ist natürlich nur bis Sonntag.
No worries. I know there's some background noise in the in the media room too. No worries. Yeah, c5 is a novelty according to the Lichess database. I can hear you, but there's a lot of background noise. I know you're probably in the media room, right?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can still hear you, but there's a lot of background noise.
What about now? Still?
Yes. I'm putting Irene on mute until maybe figure out the audio. Yeah, c5 is super, super rare.
Because my headset just
Okay. Do you wanna maybe
died
rejoin
because
the
I
call?
don't have any battery on it,
once
so I
you
cannot
charge?
hear now.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh-oh. I think we're gonna. Irene might take some time to troubleshoot. Meanwhile, yeah, I'm just poking around with the stats. c5 played 0% of the time.
I'll be back after I charge my.
Okay, yeah, just come back whenever you have things charged, and yeah, no worries at all. Oh yeah, she can't hear me, so bye. Okay. Oh no, my face. What did I do? Okay. Bear with me. Okay, back to being solo. Again, we're gradually going through the games from candidates. This game, Wei Yi is seemingly outpreparing Giri in the Catalan. Yeah, Wei Yi still blitzing, a5. Oh, but knight e5, okay. Knight e5 is perhaps a move that Wei Yi is not prepared for. And now, I mean, it's a very natural move. Very often you see this in the Catalan, offering trade of bishops. It should be noted, Wei Yi sacked a pawn, white's up a pawn here, and it's a question how black wins back the pawn. So it's about a 12-minute think before bishop takes g2. If this were an online game, you would expect king takes g2 to be pre-moved. I should put a nameplate, yeah, for if Irene comes back or if future guests come back. I was not prepared with like a name thing. That's something I can add in OBS. Why would white want to trade bishops? Isn't light squared bishop strong for white? Yeah, for anyone that maybe plays the Catalan or is learning the Catalan, usually at lower levels, like this is one of white's best pieces, the bishop on g2, and this is one of black's problem pieces. The whole opening strategy for black was to neutralize the diagonal. And once the bishop gets to c6, then it's not like this bishop is so impactful. And it's very likely the bishops get traded. It's usually not worth avoiding the trade or going out of your way to avoid the trade. So knight e5 allows the trade of bishops, but it seems like Giri is trying to at least make progress in the center. Also, maybe trying to simplify the position while he's still up a pawn. Okay, I imagine he's probably away from the board. That's why king takes g2 is not coming in. But if we see king takes g2, then it's really up to black to try and prove how they win back the pawn. And white's going to have resources to defend. Bishop e3. Rook d1, rook c1. Seems easier to play for white. There's Roger Federero in Twitch chat. I like the username. Asking, do you know how high the costs of preparing for the candidates usually are? Are we talking about financial costs? Cost of time, energy?
Please streamed more on Lee Chess again. They're always my faves. Smile.
Oh, sure. It is refreshing to do like a Lee Chess and tournament commentary stream. A little bit different, a little bit more chill than what I usually do with competitive tournaments. Yeah, thank you, Kazin. Yeah, going back to the question about costs in terms of preparation, I would expect that all the players across the men and women spent months leading up to the tournament, preparing heavily. A lot of them have multiple trainers and seconds that they work with that they probably pay a full-time salary. On top of that, yeah, investing in cloud engines. I think some players work with like performance coaches or mental coaches. I saw an interview, listened to part of an interview with Bibisara, and she has like trainers for all aspects of her play, including like mental coach, which I think is becoming more typical in top level chess. And bringing up her game here, she's playing. Oh yeah, Irene mentioned this. She's have some accelerated dragon, so maybe a slightly different move order. So I like to play this from the black side. Knight b3. Okay, knight b3 is a safer, solid move. The main line is bishop c4. There's a lot of theory that can emerge after bishop c4. Okay, opposite side castling. Yeah, this could be a very spicy game. Also, yeah, it's a little bit weird to commit to a4 and then castle queenside. But after a5, I think a4 is very well justified, preventing black from playing a4, ensuring that the knight stays here. And sometimes black wants to pawn storm, but in this case, b5 is very well within white's control. Black played knight b4, taking advantage of the fact the pawn can't go back to a3. So this is basically an outpost. An outpost is where a knight's defended by a pawn, where an opponent pawn can't attack it. And even though there's maybe eventual potential for c3, it's not easy for white to achieve. I imagine, yeah, Black's going to try and exert pressure on the queen side with a half-open c-file. White's probably going to pawn storm on the king side. It's a very typical dragon attacking plans. Comment from Dirty Flagger. Hopefully we see a rook sack on c3. It is very thematic in the dragon to sack the rook for the knight. And this might be one of the points of bishop d7 is if the knight ever moves away, then a4 could be hanging. Okay, someone said Hikaru is cooked. Where's Hikaru's game? So Hikaru versus Sindarov. Did Sindarov take Hikaru to the kitchen? Okay, maybe referring to Hikaru's time management. I did say earlier that Hikaru could spend a very long time. I think I mentioned 20 minutes, but he spent over 40 minutes so far still thinking. I don't think I've ever spent over 40 minutes on a single move. Although maybe I have. I think there was one time, oh, I wish I had the game accessible. There was one tournament I spent, it was well over half hour. It could have been in the range of like 40 to 50 minutes. It was like a position where I had some very forcing sacrifice. And it was the type of thing, if it worked, then I'd be winning. And it ended up working, and it was well worth spending a bunch of time. Actually, there was a game I spent over an hour on a single move. But it was a game that was adjourned. It's actually a game I played in Indonesia, where it was a Friday afternoon. They adjourned the game for like 90 minutes because prayers take place on Fridays. And I had to seal a move. And after I sealed the move, I had to calculate like the move that I was playing. I spent over an hour calculating. It was one of the craziest tournament experiences of my life. But Hikaru, I mean, very often we see him play like Blitz and Bullet online, but now we see him play classical, taking so much time. Also, Irene is back. Let me, Irene, can you hear me? Awesome. I'm bringing you back. I can hear you fine. Quick question for you. What's the longest you've spent on a single move in a tournament game?
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Over half hour?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I guess when I was just much younger, when I didn't know about any of this time management and I was so scared to make a decision, but probably. So I'm still charging my headset, but luckily I brought my AirPod, so.
Okay. I'm adding a text overlay to make sure people know who you are.
Mrs. Rosen.
I'm writing IM Irene Sukandar in parentheses my wife. Hopefully that's
Oh my
suitable.
gosh.
Is that okay, or just to
Do
give some
whatever you want.
context? Okay. So how's the scenery in Cyprus? Like, do you feel the tension leading up to this round or during this round, or is it pretty laid back in the media room?
Oh, in the media room is pretty chill here, but the the whole atmosphere. Okay, so here, Anastasia and I are for the St. Louis Chess Club. We are interviewing the players, sending videos to our studio in St. Louis. And also at the same time, we are doing social media as well. Yeah, we just have to be very careful because all the players are very intense here. We don't want to ask the wrong question or to disturb them when they're resting or relaxing or talking to their seconds, because everything is kind of revealed at the restaurant because everyone eats together. I mean, not at the same time, but sometimes we saw some seconds or coaches that we've never seen before, and then yeah, it's nice actually.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's. I wonder how much the seconds like play this meta game of trying to figure out who the other players' seconds are, and if that can make an impact on like the opening preparation. But yeah, it must be cool to at least be immersed in that environment. Can you share a little bit of maybe tidbits about the rest day yesterday? Because you had briefly told me there is some activity with grandmasters cooking, but they weren't cooking their opponents.
No, they were cooking their prep in their rooms. No, yeah, there was a activity by FIDE organized an activity, but only 2 players showed up. It's Nakamura-Sindarov and Pragg-Esipenko. The activity was making halloumi. So how the cheese was condensed, I guess, or the milk was condensed in a pot. Anyway, it was right after my lunch, so I didn't even take part in eating it. Although I'm sure it was nice.
Halloumi is
So
pretty
they were
filling,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So anyway, Astra, they take part in the eating while I was just recording and watching.
Sounds like
It was
prime
nice.
content.
Yeah, and then yeah, I think that was pretty much it. So nothing really happened yesterday, but we all shared the same path, walking path towards the sea. There's actually a very nice walking path at the resort. And more often than not, then we met all the players. Not all, but a few players here, a few players there, or even some seconds too. So yesterday we saw Pragg-Esipenko and Fashali with their mother and their seconds, and I even took a picture for them because they were doing selfies. And I approached them and do you want me to help you take the picture together, like the 5 of them? Yeah, sure. So
I hope you get some photo credit because sometimes these photos go viral.
We haven't really posted it. Actually, I think I only posted it on story, so not really like a post on the feed. But sure. I mean, it's fine. They're kind people anyway. So, and I know the whole family.
Of course, yeah, it's nice to know them on a personal level.
Who else did I meet?
Any interesting interactions with players or?
No, again, like we were being very careful because it is their rest day, and then although it's always good to find content with all of these players, but again, Anastasia and I we're just players too. We understand how important the rest day is, so we don't push it too much. Although we saw some players at the beach, like, oh, it's going to be like a very good content, but we were like, okay, let's not disturb them. Let's just, this is their rest day. Let's try to make the content again on the working day when they are actually there for the work. So
that makes sense. Yeah, might as well take advantage of a rest day as a journalist too, rather than staying working.
Yeah.
So are there any games you'd like to look at that you have thoughts on? Obviously, you said you're rooting for the American players. I have Hikaru's game up here, the current position.
So yeah. So I mean, I'm also they feed me with some stats as well. Do you know their historical records against each other, by the way?
Hikaru versus Sindarov.
Yeah.
I don't.
So Hikaru and Sindarov, they only played one game. I mean, this is like a classical stat, yeah?
Okay.
Of course, I think they've played, I don't know,
Probably a lot online.
million times, yeah, online, like, I don't know. But this is classical tournament stats, so they only played one game and it ended with a draw. Barbie against Matthias Buchholm, they played 2 games and also both games ended with a draw. So we're looking at the very equal stats for this round.
Okay. But also probably low sample size for for a classical chess game. Sometimes that can be an issue with checking the stats between certain matchups.
But there's one interesting stats here between Anish Giri and Wei. Guess how many times they played against each other in the classical games?
Guess how many times?
Yeah. Just the number of the games.
Oh dear. They're what? They're close in age-ish? So I'd say a couple dozen?
No.
No?
Classical.
Classical. Let's say 10. Is it less?
Final answer?
The way that you said no makes me think I overguessed, so 10 final answer.
I didn't say no. I just said, is it your final answer?
10 is my final answer.
Okay. Yes, it's 10.
Is it 10? Wow, okay.
Yes.
Well, my original guess was a couple of dozen, so at least I got it on my second guess.
Sorry, I'm giving you more chances. And what about the score?
I mean, I feel like they're the 2 most solid players. At least they have 2 of the most solid reputations of the tournament. So let's say 10 draws.
Close. 9 draws and 1 win for Anish. Actually, I don't understand this one. I have to ask Ben Underwood because they put like 0 win for Anish, 9 draws, and 1 loss for Wei. But there shouldn't be any loss without any win.
Some inconsistency with the stats.
Exactly. But it's 4.5 out of 10.
Do we know the details of that one decisive game, if it actually existed? Like what year?
I don't have any more.
No, okay. It's sometimes interesting to see like games where maybe the player defeated another player in the past and what opening it was, and sometimes you can compare it to their matchup in this tournament and see what adjustments the players make.
Maybe they will. Okay, I will send word to Ben just to translate what this means, because there might be some error in one of the stats.
Now, can you share your lifetime score against Wei Yi? I just want to give you the opportunity to flex.
I have to. You mean all time, right? Not overboard.
Like all time, yeah, including online, yeah.
Of course, the one memorable. Actually, you can come up with a better question. Like against all of these candidates, what's my score?
Oh yeah, that was going to be my next question.
No.
Answer the question with Wei Yi first.
Let me check my database. I just want to make sure. I know one game though, but okay, it's one game. One game only.
Oh, you keep your games organized in chess, so you can actually like easily check them. Yeah, you're much better than me in that regard.
100%.
100% you're better than me, or 100% against Wei Yi? Or both?
Both.
Okay. Yeah, you for anyone that maybe didn't see it, there's maybe a somewhat viral clip of you crushing Wei Yi in, was it the Pro Chess League? Or some online league match?
It was the last edition of the Pro Chess League. What year was that? 22? 23?
Yeah, you crushed him so badly that they had to end the entire league. Now, the next question, your lifetime score against all the candidates.
You can take a guess first.
Oh,
Actually,
I'll answer the
I
same
should-
question too for myself, but for you, I want to take an educated
course.
guess.
Wait, actually the better question is, have I played against all the candidates before we go to the score?
I know you've played Fabi a few times for YouTube content on your channel, and I think he's beaten you every time. But you beat Hikaru. I think you're one of the only women ever to beat Hikaru on video. Is that a true statement?
Well, I cannot speak for myself. My chest does it. No. I mean,
Yes.
we have to make our research before making a statement. So I don't know. I could probably be the one, but I mean, I don't know. I haven't made any research about it. Let me see if I have a game against Anish. Do I have a game against him?
But you're looking at your more like serious like tournament games
No,
rather
just
than content.
No, not online. Yeah.
Okay.
Not, like even if it's on online, it's like a tournament, not like
Title
some,
Tuesday or
yeah.
Okay.
Not something like not some casual banter or something.
Mhm.
So I haven't played. I haven't played against Anish. I don't think I've played against Giri-Wei. Yeah, I don't.
I don't think I've played Esipenko ever
Sindarov.
either. You've played Sindarov?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So only those three players I haven't played against.
Yeah.
Yep. So I played Prague serious tournament. I was crushing him like badly.
How old was he when you played him?
He was good question. Maybe he was 13, 14. But anyway, he was already like 25 something. Like he was already very strong.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe 25, 50. I was black and I was doing my stuff, like the only thing that I know, attack. But I didn't convert. So the game ended with a draw. Against Bluebaum, I lost badly. As black, I think I was in Czech Republic that time playing this for the Bids Open.
Mhm.
He was already very strong then. I think he was close to 2,600. Let me see. Bluebaum.
Bluebaum has crushed me so many times online. I was checking my stats against him. He always outprepares me. He always has something tricky against the London opening.
Yeah, I mean, he's very strong. Okay, I played him when he was 25-10 in 2014, so 12 years ago.
Mhm.
And he was already very strong.
Gotcha.
Against who else? Fabi. Okay, Fabi is just. Did I play a tournament game against him? I don't think so, actually. It was just these two training games before.
People
the
can find the
Toronto
video
candidate.
on your channel.
Yeah. And then who else? Oh, Hikaru. Yay, Hikaru. Yeah, the one that I should put in my resume.
Yeah, I've been Hikaru, I think 2 or 3 times in my life. But we've played, I think, close to a couple hundred games online. He has well over 90%, 95% score against me.
What about our records?
Our record against each other, oh dear. You might, I think in classical chess we have 2 draws. We've only played each other twice.
Oh my God.
Like St. Louis.
Okay, so I don't know why, but in my database we only have 5.
Okay, yeah, we've played in a bunch of like Blitz and maybe some Rabbit tournaments.
Yeah, so we had 1 draw in Gibraltar, and then I won against you in one of the Friday quads. I don't know why I even put it here. Okay, it's a tournament anyway. And then I won again. Oh, Fujairah Blitz. I even analyzed it.
Mm.
And then we made a draw in 2016, the San Luis Invitational.
Right, right. Yeah, that was I don't think that was a full game.
And then I don't remember this game. Annual Metro Championship San Luis. We made another draw,
Okay.
but I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah, we're at the point where we've played so much chess in our lives. Sometimes it's hard to pinpoint all the games in the past. Anyway, Irene, we have another special guest that is ready to join. So I don't think it's easy for me to have like multiple people on the same call. So can I let you go for now?
You can step out. Let me have it with our guest.
Actually, is the guest like is he near you in the playing room?
We're next to each other.
Okay. Oh, maybe I can have both of you. Let's see if
Okay, go over. You can have him instead of me. It's fine.
I'm just trying to. I mean, both of you are welcome to maybe be on the same video if that's easier.
Yeah.
Okay. We have. Wait a minute. To fix the
I'm
scene.
here. This is happening.
I have to fix the name tag because don't want to have people think that I have a new wife.
Is that your wife, baby?
Yeah. Let me just get rid of this overlay. Okay, I think both of you can stay on the call. Welcome to FIDE Master Mike line. On Master Mike.
Thank you. I'm just an observer to this marriage. Okay, just to make that very clear. But I'm happy to join you, Eric.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much. You're also in Cyprus. You guys are very close in proximity. You're also in the media room?
Yeah, we're 4 chairs apart.
Let me show you.
There could be some echo.
Oh,
I think there might be echo because when I talk, maybe your microphone
yes,
is picking it up.
there's echo here in my AirPod.
Yeah, you
I've
guys
been
are
doing this longer. You got to move further away.
you're responsible for each
you're
other's
older than
background
me.
noise.
Maybe I'll mute myself when I'm not talking or something. What would be the best solution? Move a little bit further away from Irene? It's usually a
You
good
want me
plan,
to
by the
go
way.
outside?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Whatever
Actually,
works
I can
for
make
you two. I don't want to interfere too much.
No. I can make a tour actually. That's not a bad idea. So, but let me unblur. Okay, there you go. So this is where I am, and that's Fun Master Mike over there. Can you see it?
Okay, we're getting multiple angles. This feels like Proctor.
Yes.
It's nice to have multiple views, make
You're
sure
right.
that
So-
everything's under control.
He actually got the best spot because whenever the players finish their game, okay, we have the press conference here, by the way, that will be where the players are. And then we will also conduct like an interview. And then, okay, there's like a very good light here, so it will be over here. And then he will get the first shot because he's very close to it. And
Now,
then all of us, like from FIDE always has the privilege. But other than that, like Lichess, San Luis Chess Club, and other media will have to wait for chess.com to finish their interview. And let me appear on his video as well. Hello.
Wow, this feels slightly magical.
yeah, now you act, Irene, like chess.com is running the show. Even though you're better at chess than me, I've been doing this a long time, and I know before round 1, whatever desk you sit at is your desk for the next 3 weeks. So I got here super early before round 1, and that's just called good prep. I'm sorry.
Wait, why is my name here, Eric? Oh, I'm using your Zoom. I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why you were able to join the meeting without me actually letting you in.
We're
We're sharing the same Zoom account.
Yeah, because I think your Zoom is logged into my computer. Anyway, a little bit of some tour of the media center. We have a coffee machine here and some other beverages. And this is the Mike's favorite station, the food, which almost gone.
I'm ordering Woltz. Okay, this is I will. She buried the lead. The coffee machine has Freddo espresso. Okay, she totally forgot to let the viewers know about that. But that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
number one thing you need to know.
And here is the FIDE's desk. And then you see Charlie's in the background. Say hi.
Hey, Charlize. Okay, we're getting some unexpected personalities on the stream.
So
Very
yeah,
nice.
this is the whole media center where we are all working.
And they do the press conferences there.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Also, you just missed Arkady and Emil singing happy birthday to one of the FIDE people. Now, I'm not actually saying that as a joke. I have witnessed Emil singing opera with Elizabeth Pates in Gibraltar, and he's really good. He's like a
Interesting.
trained opera singer. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Maybe he will sing it again in a few days, Mike.
Is it your birthday?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Yes, it is.
Irene's birthday is coming up, April 7th. Mark your calendar.
Calendar marked.
Yes. So all the games are still ongoing. So there's been no interviews this round.
Correct.
So usually, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we are also subject to the 15-minute delay. We can't really go in the room whenever we feel like it. We do have a secret link that tells us when a game is done.
Okay.
But here's the weird thing. It only gives us like the last 5 moves of the game. So there's been situations where a player is finished, but they played like 12 moves in the last 15 minutes, and we can only see the last 5. And that's important because like when I interviewed Nakamura yesterday, he was asking me like, hey, which moves were winning, you know? And I was like, I don't really know the full suite of your winning moves because I only saw the last 5 moves of the game. So it was only, anyway, it creates weird situations where players come out and we have to interview them and we literally don't know what happened. It's better than Toronto. We didn't have this secret link. In Toronto, players would finish and I'd be like, hey man, I'm not an idiot, but I literally don't know what happened in your game. You just have to tell me before I go live on air. But anyway, that's the nature of the 15-minute delay. We're subject to it also.
Okay, that's super interesting to know because yeah, usually you want to be as prepared as possible when you interview the players, and there's probably not much time to actually fully grasp what happened towards the end of the game.
Yes, in fact, before Nakamura's interview in round 4, FIDE interviewed him first, right behind me. But while they were preparing for the interview, Nakamura could see my computer, and I could see that he wanted to see what the rook endgame said. So before he was going live, I was going to my computer and hitting the fast forward button because I knew he was watching.
Wow.
So yeah, all kinds of weird situations happening. And I couldn't even figure out the double rook endgame. I don't really know why h4 was winning on move 43. Like, I don't know.
I was watching it with the engine and with like commentators covering it. I couldn't figure it out either. It was, yeah, super complex.
Oh, he made a move after like, what, 45 minutes of thought. He just played h4.
Was it only 45 minutes? It was over an hour.
I was just ballparking here. You're right. Wait, so it went from 57 to 49. You're good at math. What is that? An hour and
8 minutes ish.
Gonna make a little note for my interview.
I was asking Irene this earlier, but I know you haven't played competitive chess in a while, but what's the longest you've spent on a single move in a tournament game?
Well, not 1 hour and 8 minutes. There's no way. I'm just gonna ballpark and say I've probably never gone more than 30 minutes.
Okay.
Seems hard to believe I would have gone longer than 30. What about you guys? What were your answers?
Yeah, for me, in like a normal game, a normal classical game, it was about maybe half hour to 40 minutes on like a very deep calculation. But then one time I had a game that was adjourned. It was actually in Indonesia, and they adjourned it Friday afternoon for the prayer session. So I had to seal a move. And during the 90 minutes while my opponent was praying, I was like just spending my whole time calculating the move that I sealed. And it was super exhausting, but I eventually won the game thanks to the time I had to spend to calculate.
And now for the 97% of your viewers who have no idea what an adjournment is, we have to probably spend 1 hour and 8 minutes describing. I played 2 adjournments in my life. And when my coach told me that during an adjournment, I could talk with him as a boy, I was like, what? you get to help me. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the entire world that my coach, who I really looked up to, could help me. So it was cool back in those adjournment days.
Yeah, I'm grateful that adjournments are not super common these days because it's hard to devote so much time to playing a single chess game.
Yeah, yeah. Can I give an adjournment story, or we want to get back to chess?
Feel free. This is super casual laid back, so we're here for stories.
2006, I think the National Middle School Nationals, oh, got moves on the board. We're in Louisville, Kentucky, and there was a tornado warning. And the most interior part of the hotel, the safest part, was where the chess tournament was being played. They paused the clocks on 700 boards. And the other convention in the hotel was Mary Kay Cosmetics. And you know how big their sales force is. So the Mary Kay Cosmetics salespeople came into the same room. Clocks were stopped. Moms were trying to console their kids who were a little bit concerned. And the Mary Kay women were trying to sell cosmetics to the chess moms during the break. And I offhandedly go up to the tournament director or arbiter for our international audience. And I was like, hey, how many sealed moves envelopes did you bring? And even by 2006, the Germans weren't a thing. And he kind of laughs. And then he gets on the microphone 5 minutes later and he says to the tournament directors, prepare to adjourn all games. I mean, could you imagine?
That's insane.
Adjourning seven. There's probably like 4 kids in the room who knew how to seal a move. And not to throw shade, I'm not sure how many tournament directors were prepared on that particular scenario too. But anyway, the games ended up continuing after like an hour. They resumed. So
wow, yeah, I'm wondering how many cosmetics were actually sold to the chess players or chess players' parents. But it sounds like a good sales opportunity too.
yeah, there were some pink Cadillacs being earned that day. Anyway. So yeah, 2 pawn sacrifices. Now, I guess Nakamura, he said on his podcast, look at my age, on his YouTube channel, on his stream, that he thinks his chances to win the tournament are very bad if he doesn't win this game.
That's probably fair. Yeah, I have not been watching Hikaru's content as close as you, but I know he leans into like the stats and odds and maybe the betting markets. And yeah, I feel like it's maybe close to a must win for him, even though it's still a long tournament too. Like there's plenty of time to try and come back.
You know, he said something really interesting that I've never heard a player say before after round 4. So I guess he joined Jan Ludwig Hammer and Fiona for just like a bit of time at some point after round 4. And he said to them, he chose the Dragendorf in the moment after looking at Fabiano's game with Javakir.
Wow.
So he looked at Fabiano's game, decided for whatever reason that he wanted to take a chance on his game, and he altered his opening choice in the moment by looking at the leader's board. I've never heard a chess player do that before in my entire life.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's not something I would even consider. Like,
yeah,
especially so early in the tournament too. Wow.
Imagine if you were his second. I mean, I know he's worked with Chris Littlejohn for 15 years, but I'm sure Chris has to be deferential and everything. But if you're a second and then he plays the Dragendorf and he admits that it's probably unsound and he plays it anyway, it's just crazy decision, crazy amount of risk taking.
Yeah, I can't.
But again,
yeah, go ahead, Irene.
But again, in his interview, he said, right, I mean, during all of this recap or whatever, he can say whatever he wants. So we never know the truth. Like, that's what he said. But
I wonder,
give some room for the benefit of doubt.
Yeah, I wonder how much like Hikaru intentionally misleads his opponents or future opponents by like saying random nonsense in his recaps just to maybe give opponents false impressions that he's perhaps reckless or sporadic with his opening choices. Because I've done that in my recaps where I'll say like, oh, I don't like some opening line, and then a future opponent will play it against me, and then I'm very well prepared for it. So it's like subtle things you can do when you're actually making content around your games.
That's pretty clever. And you know what? That reminds me of the question that I asked Anish. How do you balance sales versus secrets? Because you're an active player, Eric. And he very quickly, because Anish is very quick on his feet. He says, oh, that's easy. I sell my secrets.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
Yeah. He,
Gotta feed the
yeah,
family somehow.
he actually said, I have no dignity. His words, not mine.
Uh-huh. Now, out of all the players, obviously Hikaru is like the most prominent one doing game recaps. Do you know of any other players doing content like during the tournament for their own social media channels?
I think you mean a player that's playing here. Is that right?
Yes.
I don't know of any. Irene?
No, no one is like Hikaru. Hikaru is a special case. But
So,
probably Anish is recording something maybe for his own channel pretty soon, but not that I know of.
well, Anish, I think, made the comment before the tournament that he's taking a break from social media for the whole event, but
But
maybe
you know
that could
what?
be a lie.
That's not true. And I'll
No?
tell you why. He brought up my tweet during one of his interviews.
Hey,
He
it's
was
my interview. Come on.
your
Give me
interview.
credit. Yes, it was my interview with Anastasia.
Credit where credit's due. Because of Irene, I know that Anish is reading Twitter because he was talking about April Fool's tweets. And he brought up my completely stupid tweet about them pausing in the middle of the game for a pizza party. And Anish said, it's so stupid and crazy. I thought, maybe it's true, because who could think of this? So thank you, Irene, for bringing that out of Anish. But yeah, he definitely is reading Twitter. We know that.
I didn't see that tweet. But I made a discovery today that there's another player in the candidates doing regular round recaps. And it was a YouTube algorithm that recommended me.
I know that. It's Wei. I just
Yes.
realized.
They're in Chinese. It's for a very small YouTube channel. But it was super interesting to watch. It's for the YouTube channel called Underpromoted. And it's actually very watchable. Like the subtitles are quite good, it seems like. And the videos have like a few hundred views each, but the first 3 recaps of his games are posted. And he's talking about how like the opening prep against FABI worked out really well, and he completely overlooked knight d1 against him. And it seemed like he was being very open about his play so far.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to get Nemo to help us translate.
Oh yeah.
She was our translator in Toronto because she's from there.
Okay.
So when we needed her to translate a couple of the Chinese ladies, she was a pretty good translator. She said she didn't speak Mandarin that well, but I think it was totally fine. And you know who else speaks Chinese? That's a famous streamer.
Oh, I'm trying to think.
Okay,
Alexandra Botes, right?
That's it. She's probably the biggest streamer that speaks Chinese. Well, she has to be, right?
I remember her in the Pro Chess League finals in San Francisco interviewing the Chengdu Pandas in Chinese. I was super impressed.
Yeah, you were the official photographer for the event. I remember that. And that's where I found out she spoke Chinese.
Right. Yeah. That's why I was a photographer, not have the language skills. Anyway, if there's any games you guys want to offer insights about, or Mike, if you have more interesting stories or tidbits about the players, I'm happy to go with whatever direction.
Can we look at this game? This before I was just looking briefly. So h4 was a mistake by Hikaru.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he should have played knight e4, but then I was like, okay, both of those moves, they're attacking the queen anyway. So what's the difference? So probably there's something about, like if you play knight e4, there might be some sacrifice on f6 that's due to come. Like, okay, knight e4, let's say we put the same move queen a5 before, takes, and then in this position, maybe you just go, I think you can actually, hang on. Queen d2, knight c2.
I want to mention I'm not looking at the game with the engine, and I've not checked the engine yet. So just a disclaimer.
Okay. Probably in this position, what if we just play knight f6? Takes,
my knight.
and then, but this doesn't make sense. I want to play queen d2, all of this, like fancy stuff, like bishop e7, you're sacrificing something.
This looks interesting.
Like-
Oh, but rook g1, there's knight g6.
There's
I
knight
guess.
g6, that's it. And now if we play bishop e7, there's knight d5. So yeah. But how to make it work? You know what I mean? Okay, imagine if we don't have this knight d5, like knight takes before, no, queen a5 before.
Okay, knight e4, queen
Knight
a5
e4,
before.
queen a5 before takes, knight f6 takes. And imagine if we don't have knight g6, okay, rook g1 check.
Yeah, if king h8, then
And then bishop takes e7, and then okay, but
Looks
there is still knight d5.
knight d5. Yeah.
So
Is this why Hikaru took over an hour? He really wanted to make these lines work.
Yeah, because he'd be willing to sack his queen on d5 if he could just get his bishop to f6, but it's just all checking moves for black. I like the idea.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point. That knight d5. Yeah, there's some potential mating ideas, but of course it's check. So yeah, with h4, like what happened in the game, the knight is slower to enter the party, and the g file is perhaps less of a immediate issue for black. So now Sindarov is taking some time. You said h4 is a mistake. Was that from knowledge based on the engine, or is that just your initial thoughts?
from the engine, there
Okay.
was like I didn't know why it is a mistake. It just there's like this question marks. So I was just
Okay.
thinking why is it wrong, or why is it like a mistake? So knight d4 should be better. But I think it has something to do with the G file.
Mhm.
Actually, can I piggyback Irene's idea? So let's go back to the knight e4 line. Queen a5, b4, knight takes. I wonder, can you like play queen d2 and allow knight c2 and then go for all the same ideas? Because you've tricked the knight into going after your rook. Of course, black's not required, but maybe black is required, because how else does black save the knight? Just move your king somewhere. I don't know
King
where.
e2. Yeah, you have to play
Long
king e2. And then
Yeah,
queen
guard.
takes, and then king takes, and then knight takes a1. And then I think this is the moment where you play
Yeah.
knight f6 and bishop e7.
There's a strategy in chess. Sacrifice everything. It might be checkmate.
Hang on, why do we need to sacrifice our knight? We can just simply take on e7, no?
That's true, actually.
And then
There's
after
still
rook
ideas
e8,
of-
now it's sacrifice.
But there's
rook e8,
f5?
knight f. Hmm.
All black needs
Yeah,
to
but-
do is not get mated.
But
you
you
just
have knight
played-
d6.
The knight
And
d6, the
then-
rook is trapped, and then the
Yeah.
knight's trapped.
Oh,
Everything's
wow,
trapped for
everything's
black.
trapped. How much? Wait, what's material?
Oh, I can't be bothered with such questions.
Black
There's
has
actually
7 versus 4 pawns, so 3 pawns and exchange, but white's winning back. Probably a rook. Yeah, this position makes my head hurt.
This is a true story. There's actually a major dust storm from the Sahara Desert in Cyprus today.
Really?
And I was outside all morning playing golf. So my eyes really are feeling it, and I'm gonna hang pieces on your show.
Oh dear. Okay. I hope you brought eye drops. Would eye drops help? I don't know how you treat desert dust storm.
I think lower my addiction to golf, where I don't go outside for 4 hours, would have been the what the doctor ordered. But
That would
yeah.
make sense. Okay.
But this is cool. Irene, I like your idea. Maybe this is why your 94 idea is better.
Yeah, it does seem like
Yeah.
there's so much more benefit to having the knight in the center compared to the pawn on h4 and keeping the knight on g3. Especially in a position where you have to prove like immediate compensation, given that you're down 2 pawns.
Yeah, but maybe his idea is that he wants to put his knight on h5 and threaten g7 that way. There's some utility to being on g3. I don't know.
Yeah, there's also maybe the potential for the h-pawn thrust.
Mhm.
Sindarov played knight takes b4 after 12 minutes.
Yeah. Do you have to play king f1 here or something?
King f1 and white's down 3 pawns. it's always sad that like when you gambit, you want to be the attacker, and if you have to play just a purely defensive move like King F1, then sometimes it's a sign that things have gone a little bit wrong. But I guess white still has some initiative, like the bishop is quite useful on d6.
I think Sindarov's grabbing pawns faster than Anish.
Oh yeah,
Thank you for laughing. You'll
that's
be paid later.
I saw the one clip from the last round where there were multiple instances of Anish pocketing pawns.
Not in this tournament, but he made some overture at the press conference that maybe he's done it before at previous tournaments.
Okay.
Because he said sometimes the pieces go all the way up to my hotel room with me, but I always return them.
Did he return the pawn from the previous rounds?
Yep, hit it.
Okay. There's
Our
cameras
crack
all
reporter,
around. There
Irene.
should be like pretty
Yes.
clear video evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had that habit.
Actually, security is very tight at this hotel, just in general.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is one of the nicest hotels in Cyprus, might be the nicest, but I feel like a lot of people who value their privacy stay at this hotel.
Okay. Well, sounds like a nice and safe place to be.
Yeah, but sometimes the security protocol is a little bit heavy-handed, shall we say.
Okay, yeah, I guess there's some pros and cons.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of in-person spectators like coming to watch can people even watch the games in person?
Yeah, definitely. You just have to buy the tickets.
Mhm.
And how much is it, Mike?
I haven't checked the price, but I can say that the actual viewing area inside the room is very small, much smaller than Toronto. Toronto had like stadium seating where you could be in the top and look down. Here, I'm going to estimate 20 VIP chairs, and you have to have a VIP ticket. And other than that, it's standing room only behind the chairs. But I haven't really looked into what class of ticket gets you where or how much it costs.
Mhm. Now, as a media person, do you have access to go into the playing or the spectator area during the round too?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, but only during 3 like 15-minute windows. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, because I
And
imagine then you get to see the games without the delay, right?
Right. And I guess it's probably one of the security protocols too, is that if we see the moves without delay, then we leave the room. Then if we had unfettered access to the playing hall, they might be concerned that some of us could go and find out real-time information. And then I'm not saying this, but you could relay it if there was an illegal device. None of that is happening. I'm just saying that's probably their concern.
Okay. Yeah, I guess they want to take extra precaution, which makes sense.
Yes. Okay, rook e8 on the board.
So moves are coming in actually surprisingly quickly given the slow pace of the previous moves. Hikaru castled, which honestly I forgot was legal.
You've been playing too much freestyle, were you?
Yeah, I have not actually, but sometimes I just forget how chess works. Castling usually is something you want to do early in the game, but like we were both thinking King F1 is perhaps more natural because the rook wants to be on the half open G file. Sindarov very quickly plays rook e8, which perhaps was only logical move. Defend the knight, unpin the knight.
So queen d2, c5, a3, and then knight b c6 is the defense.
Mm.
Okay.
Good
Okay,
point.
so
Yeah,
that's-
queen d2 almost wins material, but black has, I think, just enough resource to escape.
Yeah, there's almost back rank issues too. If you could play queen d2, rook d1 quickly, but white is so close to just winning. But I guess if Sindarov plays rook e8 that quickly, there's nothing.
Yeah, it's true. Like black's position is hanging on by a thread. Like white's main ideas are to, okay, pin the knight and try and win material, or like go for back rank. Should note like takes the d8 square is covered by the queen on a5.
Hang on, white is down 3 pawns already? I just realized.
Yeah.
It's easy to lose count. Like usually we're not used to counting that high as chess players. So the ball is in Hikaru's court.
mean, if you play knight h5, queen d4, then you're leaving knight f5 available. Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're and black seems to have a nice selection of defensive resources against white's ideas.
So maybe prophylactic with rook e1 then?
Yeah, why else would Hikaru castle kingside rather than king f1? Like, does he want to get the rook to the center? Rook e1 actually maybe has the idea of rook e5.
Yeah, rook e5.
Harass the queen.
Stops knight f5 too.
Yeah, that's the main idea.
But yeah, that's a good point that knight f5, there's a potential pin.
Yeah, and queen is overworked.
Oh yeah, just to show the queen defends 2 knights. So white can take 1 knight and then take the other knight.
Yeah.
Oh, queen d2 has just
Okay, queen d2 played.
Yep, so I think c5 is...
c5.
Ah, now,
expected.
okay, I'm going to piggyback Mike's idea. So if you play c5, maybe there is this queen g5, knight h5 idea, you know, still aiming on g7.
Yeah, it's funny. You actually get black to play c5 and cut off his own queen, so you don't have to do that work for him by playing rook e1, e5. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Like the drawback of
Hang
c5.
on, but I'm so used to thinking for some counter attack. So I don't want to defend my b4 knight. What if I play queen a3 and go and then defend it with a5? I don't know how that would make any difference.
But I'm going to take both your knights, queen a3, queen b4, and I take your other knight too.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But you know what? Black's up 3 pawns. If black ditches a piece, like in some scenario, to get a 4th pawn, like putting a knight on d5 at some point, I don't think it works here, but black might be thinking about how to give a piece to resolve some of the issues.
But that's not the end of the world, Mike. So if I just keep calculating, so queen a3, bishop takes b4, queen takes f3, bishop takes e7, and I play e5.
Wait, slow down. I just realized queen a3 hits the bishop on f3. So you said queen a3.
Okay, keep up, babe.
Yeah.
Okay,
On
queen
babe.
a3.
You have to talk in slow motion.
Bishop takes b4.
Okay.
Queen takes f3, bishop takes e7, and then e5. So your idea is you just want to play bishop h3, attacking for a mate, covering the back rank, and take on e7.
I like it.
King h2.
Yeah, king h2, and then
By the way, before you continue, for the record, white could have the same position with the queen on b4, because white could have played queen takes b4. So whatever we analyze, just keep that in mind.
That's a good point. Yeah, queen b4, we go into the same
but
line.
then that's I think that's actually helping me because I have the c5 intermezzo, not e5 anymore. And then b6 and bishop b7.
Wow. Fancy. I mean, there is... Oh, no, queen e3 loses bishop.
And in that position, of course, I mean, if the queens are traded, then black is just going to be better.
Well, a move was played, and they're not entering this line.
Oh, c5 is
C5
the move.
and
Okay,
not
I was
queen a3.
just trying to be fancy, but yeah, c5 should be like the standard reaction there.
So this is what Mike had said initially, preparing knight bc6 if white plays a3, resolving the pin.
But knight h5 or queen g5, those are looking pretty juicy, as Irene pointed out.
Yeah, it's a good point that most of black's pieces are sidelined on the queen side after c5, and this is usually a sign that you want to focus on the king side. Like white has most of the things ready to pounce. The question, can you do so in maybe a concrete manner?
This is actually a really fun position to be analyzing without a computer, because we could be completely off on so many of our ideas in this particular position.
I'm super curious to check with Engine, but I want to refrain myself because this is usually how you understand chess better, is by using your brain before you check the engine.
I will say, in my 20 years or so of doing chess journalism, it is now common for players to finish their game. and to come right up to me and be like, hey, what'd I do wrong? Or was 17 knight c4 correct? Which is unlike any other sport where you can imagine like Tiger Woods asking the golf commentator, like, should I have hit 2-iron there or whatever? Anyway, that's a different story for a different day.
That's a good point, though. Yeah, chess is one of these endeavors where the average couch potato can know more than the top level player.
Yeah, and it takes some soft skills when you interview a player, when you absolutely know they missed a winning move, but you only found it because you had a big advantage they didn't have. You can't just be like, why didn't you play 17 knight c4? You have to be like, hey, did you give any consideration to anything else in that middle game position? Because you don't want to be like the know-it-all who only got the answer from the computer. Anyway, let's go back to chess.
Yeah, I understand that, though. Sometimes it depends on the players too. Some players are like very annoyed when journalists will spit out some long engine analysis. You do have to be sensitive to their feelings. So are
Okay,
we
so you can
expecting Queen G5, Knight H5?
No,
Yeah.
none of the above, I
No?
guess, because I still like I'm still coming from like the classical school of thought. So I would like to get all my pieces ready for the attack. For example, there's no harm in doing rook fd1 because you still are attacking bishop e7, queen d8. And at the same point, also, queen g5, knight h5, we can do it at any point later. So, and also I was thinking, even though white is down 3 pawns, but how to proceed here is black, like all the pieces are still in the back, right?
It's very
if you
true.
play
Black is stuck.
Rook fd1 was my thought too, but black can play bishop d7, and it looks weird to put a bishop where it's en prise. But remember, black has the luxury of being able to give back several pawns. So b7 is hanging. Bishop takes c5 is not a move you'd play, even though it wins the pawn, because you're down too many pawns to just win one pawn back. And black has to finish development.
And now after bishop d7, maybe now we can come up with all of this idea of queen g5 immediately. Okay, queen g5, there is all sort of moves, yeah? Or knight h5. Actually, I like knight e4. I still have this knight f6 idea and also attacking c5. I don't know, all of these moves looks, but there's knight f5.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit easier to play for black, even though it's white that's going to be the aggressor. Like black is limited in the way that they can untangle, which sometimes can make it just easier to reply to whatever white's threatening. I do like this concept of bishop d7, just give back b and or c pawn and still be up material.
By the way, can we do shameless plug?
Hi, Eric.
Yes, please. I already have a
Friday.
pinned message I did have a pinned message in Twitch chat, but do your shameless plug, Mike.
Well, for the last 2 rounds, I've been trying to get your wife to do a wrap-up video with me, but now that we're saying publicly on air, I've been doing these daily, like quick 10-minute recaps of pretty much all the wins. And I'm going to be doing that again after this round and collabing with Irene, because I just started my own personal YouTube channel, which is just at Funmaster Mike. You probably have to type in at Funmaster Mike, because if you just search Funmaster Mike, you're going to get all these videos from Chess Kid days. But anyway, I'll be collabing with Irene, and maybe we'll do it every round. I don't know. Depends on how much Irene wants to help me. But I'm doing it every round on my channel for sure.
So people don't have to search anything. They can just click the link in the live chat currently. It should be a pinned message. And it will take people straight to your YouTube channel. And you're currently sitting at, before I started the stream, you're sitting at 43 subscribers.
Just started, yeah. But actually, my last video I did with the Chess Nerd, and it did pretty well. But I just enjoy journalism. I enjoy teaching like you do, Eric. And it's just a nice outlet to be able to start my personal channel and kind of do whatever I want. So, but I will say there's a couple different markers. Maybe you do this, Eric. If you get to certain subscribers, you'll do something crazy for your audience. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know. If I ever get to 100,000, I'm gonna play a game of weightless chess. And for those that don't know, there's one company in the world that takes a 737 and does parabolic dives, and you are actually weightless for a period of about 30 seconds every time the plane dives.
Wow.
So it's not cheap, but I'm going to do it when I get to 100,000 subscribers. Maybe I'll do it with you. Maybe I'll do it with Irene. I don't know who's going to play me, but that's the goal. That's the top of the mountain. 100,000 subscribers, waitlist chess.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, I've never even considered doing something like that. Can I
As
ask
you
how much it
speak, Mike?
costs?
Go on.
When I first looked into it, years ago, it was like $4,000 a person. Now I think it's 8,000 or 9,000 a person. By the way, you can be total baller and rent the whole plane. We're not doing that. But turns out a former producer for chess.com actually now works for a company that is somehow partners with this company. I don't know. Maybe I have an in. Not exactly sure. But I do need another streamer to come on that plane with me. So just saying, Eric.
Okay, yeah,
Irene.
we'll both keep it in mind. Yeah, maybe we can both be there for the celebration. But what about 100 subscribers? So I just refreshed your YouTube channel. You're up to 85, so people, at least some people are listening. Any
86 now.
celebrations for?
That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Thanks, guys.
86.
Actually, I have a video coming out now that does explain a couple different markers.
Sorry, you broke up there for a moment.
Yeah. 1 second, guys.
No worries.
Yeah, the internet here is a little bit. Sometimes it's not as stable.
No worries at all.
Okay, am I back now?
Yeah, you're back. You're up to 94 subscribers, so very soon you're gonna have to do some 100 celebration.
This is the day I'm going to look back on that I owe Eric a cake or something. I
can
think
give
when
it
I
to
get
me,
to
Mike.
1,000 subscribers, I was going to do a stream. Am I breaking up again, by the way?
You're good. It's not that bad.
When I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a live stream where I play every single bot on chess.com. And by the way, there's like 220. So I'm expecting this to be like, I don't know, it's going to take like 10 hours or something. So yeah. And then there's nothing based on facial or hair. I know that this is kind of like a Mons thing. And I think Gotham has something about getting to 10 million. He's going to dye his hair. I don't know. I'm not into the whole hair thing. So maybe you guys can help me when I get to 10,000 subscribers, what to do.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not into the whole hair thing either. I tried growing a beard for like 3 weeks, but my wife was not happy with it.
I like how you're speaking. We're speaking about your relationship in the third person, even though you're both right here. What other rules can we get into this, Eric? What other rules does she have for you? Just kidding.
Not too
I'm
many.
looking
No,
over her right
it's,
now.
Not so
we're
many
pretty
rules,
relaxed.
don't worry.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, you guys are actually one of the great couples of the chess world. You're both very likable, and I'm glad you found each other. And mushy, mushy, mushy. Live long and prosper, guys. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mike. And we're very grateful to have you in our lives and call you a good friend. So really appreciate it.
Thanks. All right, we doing chess or nuptials? Where are we going next?
Good question. Yeah. What do you guys want? Irene, do you have other games you want to check out? I'm keeping an eye on
FABI.
the chats as well.
I'm focusing on FABI and Hikaru. So
Okay, we can switch to Fabi.
if you wanna take a look at FABI's game.
Yeah, this.
Oh, we already have a result there on the women's section. Goichkina drew Anamasichuk.
Looks
Yeah,
like a
they
very
traded
peaceful
pieces
finish.
super fast. Yeah.
Yeah, not sure if this game deserves so much analysis.
The only thing I can add, and this is not very exciting, but for the first round ever, Anish was not the first player to arrive. For whatever reason, Anna Musichuk beat him today.
Oh wow! And
There you go.
how soon before the round?
She was there maybe 15 minutes before. It was actually a little bit awkward because around the third or fourth player to arrive was Goryachkina. And of course, no handshake, no words spoken. They were at the board for quite some time, not speaking to each other or even making eye contact, but that's the nature of the game.
Yeah, it sounds slightly awkward, but yeah, maybe they're used to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm switching to the Fabi game.
Yeah, he plays this versus the Petrov a lot, or at least back in the day. This was one of his common weapons.
Knight c4.
Oh, maybe not knight c. Yeah, I think he played knight c4. No, no, he played the knight f3, knight c3 stuff, I think.
Okay, yeah, I remember a lot of games with this like knight c3 main line, but the knight and c4 makes it a little bit weirder.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he was very well prepared for this opening, and I think this is the first game this tournament he got a sizable lead on the clock out of the opening. Like straying away from theory.
Well, he's the only player here with 2 public seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, Kristin Kirilla
Oparin.
and Gregory Oparin.
Okay.
Oparin.
Yeah. And I only report on that because those 2 people are in public places. There are some times where seconds come to a tournament and they don't leave the hotel room, but that's not Kristin or Gregory.
Do all the players have at least one public second, or are there any players that keep all their seconds secret?
I don't have a second for every player, at least not observed or written down. Just today, I confirmed that Dubov
I can
is
tell
seconding
you.
Lana. Go ahead.
Just yesterday, they were here since day 1, actually. I met them.
But every single player?
Let me put it down. Okay, who are we talking about? Wei, there are 2 Chinese grandmasters. One of them I played in the same team in the Chinese league many years ago. Who else? Anish with Jan Smits, everyone knows that. Hikaru with Chris Littlejohn. Fabi, you mentioned. Matthias with Rasmus Vane. Pragg-Esipenko with FIDE Suri. Giri-Wei with Aravian.
And Javakir is with, I can't say his last name.
I mean, Mukidin, but he works with both Bibisara.
No, it's not Mukidin. It's someone else that he named someone publicly during an interview with me. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. So, and in the women's section,
So Dubov is
Grechkina with
confirmed to
Tomasevsky.
do with Lano.
And Grechkina Tomasevsky.
Jushiner is with Sheparinov.
With Sheparinov. Fashali with Pranov. Okay, that's a question. With DVS second, I know one of them, but the other one, the older guy, I've seen him some time ago, but I cannot pinpoint his name. If you can help me, I know him, but I just cannot get the name in my mind.
And I do want to say, Irene's information is great, but this is the advantage of staying at the host hotel because you eat meals and you see them in the hallways. And
probably best
chess.com
not to share publicly.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, like, I stayed at the host hotel at the 2023 World Championship, and the morning before the press conference, I saw Richard Rapport having dinner with Ding, or no, breakfast. And it was because of that, I was like the first person to be able to publicly announce, I went up to Richard, I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? And he kind of smiles at me, and I'm like, hey man, like this is a public place. I have to, but obviously he wasn't trying to hide it. He was there the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, like if they spend enough time together in public place, eventually it's gonna be known to the public.
Yeah, he was walking to every round with him and everything.
Makes sense. Should we hop back into the chess? Fabiano launching his kingside attack. He got an f5. Sure. Seems like an opening success for him.
I have another update on Mike's subscribers. It's 109 now. So we passed 100 already. So you might want to Nightbot comment, Eric,
It's 111. Yeah, I keep refreshing and
to help
people
him to
keep
200.
yes.
This is good. And I only have one mom, which means the other 108 are real subscribers.
That's
I don't
that's a
think
good
my
point.
mom's on YouTube. Hey, so why don't we have chat decide what I'm going to do when I get to 1,000 subscribers in the middle of the tournament?
That's fair. Yeah, we're open to suggestions. Keep an eye on chat. I do have
Because
to
I
update
can't
the
really do it.
message though. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't really do like a 20-hour stream in the middle of the candidates, which was my original plan. Or you know what? Chat can just tell me to do something now. We got to 100, which was a big deal. So chat, do your thing.
Someone says chess in space. Another person says nail art. Any nail salons around in Cyprus? Attempt a handstand. Best impression of a chicken. Some people just want us to talk about the FADE
Maybe
game.
we should probably do that. Let's give them what they want.
Figure skating chess. Okay, Bluebaum played Rookie 8.
Okay, the internet is not good. Hang on, guys. I think I have to tune out right now because the St. Louis chess club broadcast just started, so I have to come back to work again.
Okay, enjoy. Thanks for
Will do.
joining.
All right.
Hey.
No worries. I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye, Eric. Bye, chat.
Yeah, it looks like I'll probably jump also to do some stuff that
That's
I'm actually
totally
paid to
fine.
do,
I'm very
so.
grateful for both of you joining, keeping me company. I know you guys are super busy, and yeah, if I do another commentary stream, of course you're more than welcome to come back.
Will do. Okay. Bye. Love you, babe.
Love you too. See you, Mike.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks for having me. Thank you, chat. See you.
Adios. Okay. Oh no, my guests. I'm back to solo commentary. Yeah, big thanks to Mike Klein and Irene for joining. Thank you everyone for supporting Mike's very new channel on YouTube. He's been putting out some like great content from Cyprus, and I feel like his content deserves a bit more attention than what he's been getting. It's sometimes the nature of starting a new channel on YouTube. So, yeah, I'm happy to stay with this game if people want me to look at other games as well. We could do a quick tour of all the games that are ongoing. Bear with me one moment. I'm gonna stop this Zoom call. And yeah, how about we do just a quick glance of the ongoing games? Maybe I'll spend like a minute or two on each one, give my initial thoughts. Let's start with the women's games. This game saw earlier. This is a dragon, accelerated dragon turned into kind of a sharp middle game position. Lagno against Bibisara. Knight h5. Unleashing the bishop, buying knight g3. That's interesting. e5 is usually not a move you like to play in such a structure, blocking in the own bishop. Also weakening d6. But, okay, Bibisara has clear intentions to just break open the center. Looks like a temporary pawn sacrifice. I mean, white has 1, 2, 3, 4 things attacking d5. There's only the knight defending. I guess there is a pin along the c-file, so if takes, there's takes. And after pawn takes, This allows the bishop to come to f5. Wow. Yeah, super spicy game. c2 is attacked twice. g4 looks almost very strong, but it just walks into an even stronger counter fork. So first impression, I have no idea what's going on. It's the nature of watching without the engine. I mean, white's on the defensive. Black has initiative. Do you have to play rook c1? I guess it's a question after rook c1. What's the follow-up? Right, does black eventually want to play e4, open up the other bishop? How about this? How about for each game, I'll do guess the eval, and I'll guess like which side the engine likes. So this will be maybe one of the first times in the stream I'm turning on the engine. The thing is, the eval probably comes down to like very concrete lines. Time management. I'm going to say white's better here. I'm going to say plus 0.5. I feel like after rook c1, it's the type of position the engine should be able to defend. Wow, white's winning. Okay, rook c1's second best, but the best move is put the knight in the corner. Black has nothing. Bibisara is bluffing. Wow. So this whole sequence just wasn't great for black. e5. Yeah, e5 is just a severe positional mistake. Black's already worse. Should have played knight g3. Okay. All right, moving on to let's go Tan against Divya. Quick opening recap. Queen's Gambit declined. Yeah, this is trendy to exchange on d5 early. I think this used to be considered not so dangerous, but a lot of strong players are playing such a variation these days. Very often just getting a game of chess. Knight h5, okay. Questioning the bishop. Trade of bishops. h3 is slightly mysterious, maybe preventing bishop g4. Looks like solid play from both sides. Another mysterious move, queen b1. Queen b1 is interesting. Maybe to a lot of amateur players or players who are not familiar with this Carlsbad structure, you might look at queen b1 and be very confused. One of the main ideas for white when you have this specific pawn structure, in cases where white's missing a c-pawn, black's missing an e-pawn, very often white wants to go for this minority attack b4, b5. And even though white is maybe trapping in their own rook, the eventual idea is to play b4, a4, where the rook has purpose, and then break down black's structure with the b5 break. So hopefully that makes sense. I assume we'll see this unfold. Okay, black plays a5, so preventing b4. Is white going to play a3? She does. Goes for b4. Queen gets attacked. Goes up to b3. And yeah, eventually white does want to get this break in. Plays rook a5 first. I like this move, preparing the double up. If takes, then the pawn is very useful on a5, kicking the knight. I actually really like the way that Tan is playing this. I do want to note this maneuver from Divya, because this knight on g7 looks ridiculous. But when you're black in the Carlsbad structure, one of the best squares for your knight is on d6. When I was younger, I had a coach that called this the Capablanca knight. I think because Capablanca played the structure a lot, putting his knight on d6 combines very well with the structure, eyeing e4 and c4, so we do see this maneuver from black. And okay, white doing some interesting knight maneuver, maybe eyeing h6. But Yeah, Divya is going into the square. Very positional game. And white is dominating the A file. Still has potential on the queen side. And b5 looks like a candidate move. Because if you play b5 and black has to eventually take, then d5 becomes very weak. Also, b5 threatens to take, and then there's some pin on the 7th rank. So, if I guess the eval, I'd say white's slightly better. Yeah, not to mention, there's knight h6 still. Get the bishop, bishop g4. I think black's main source of counterplay is using the c4 square, but I'm not sure how valuable that is. Let's say plus 0.6 in white's favor. Also big time advantage too. Okay, I'm closer compared to the previous game. Plus 0.3. Knight h6 best move, b5. Okay, I'm happy. Much happier with my impressions. So these are the two main candidate moves. Wait, was knight a1 played in the other game? Wow, knight a1. Yeah, it's a move that like I didn't even consider initially, but defends c2 and keeps a rook on the more active square. I guess the knight wasn't doing too much otherwise on b3. Is this the first game in the candidates we see someone put their knight in the corner? Maybe someone can fact check. Moving on. Oh, there's a question. What's the problem with bishop d3? That's a fair question. I think bishop d3 is just met with takes, and then the d file is obstructed. Black will win back the pawn. As white, you're up a pawn. You want to keep d5 defended, and you just want to defend against the main threat. And the reason why this is so good for white is black apparently doesn't have an easy follow-up. And white's ready to play g4, kick black back, and white's also up a pawn. So again, if you're just joining, I'm covering round 5 of the candidates. I'm at the stage where I'm just going through each game and giving my impressions. I'm doing some guest evals, so I try and evaluate the position and then check with the engine. Moving on to the other ongoing game in the women's section, Zhu Jiner versus Vaishali. I have not seen this game yet, so just doing a live react to the opening. We have a 2 knights defense, Italian. h6 is very trendy. Very often players will play h6 to maybe eventually play g5 and expand on the king side. It may seem maybe slightly unusual to play d6 blocking in the bishop, but the bishop does have some value in going to e7, keeping the king side safe. Also, sometimes there's g5, bishop g7, a4. a4 is also a very trendy computer type move, just gaining space. Okay, I'm going to zoom through. So Zhu Jiner played 3 a-pawn moves in a row. This is modern chess. Get the a-pawn in black's crib, induce maybe some long-term grip on the queen side. Play c4. Yeah, so white is grabbing more space, enjoying more space on the queen side. The drawback of committing pawns to c4 and e4, you give away the d4 square. Black knight hops in. Have a few trades of minor pieces. c6. Trying to understand c6. Maybe black wants to break with d5. breaks with f5. Yeah, very interesting dynamic structure. White continuing to grab space on the queen side. Grab space on all sides. Yeah, white has moved almost every single pawn. G-pawn still staying back. And d5, wow, so really increasing the tension. So white takes, and plays e5, achieving a defended pass pawn. This is a potentially very good asset going into the endgame. And black plays h5. Otherwise, maybe white's ready to move the h-pawn forward. And this is the current position. So things have closed down. This is probably the first time in chess history that we see this exact pawn structure. I don't know if it's possible to search like in the database of existing chess games, but I'd be shocked if this exact pawn structure has happened in the past. Now, who's better here? Because it's a more static position, sometimes these can be a little bit easier to evaluate because it's more about kind of long-term ideas, evaluating kind of how the structure favors each side or doesn't favor each side. So my first step is counting material. Pawns are equal. Material's all equal. I actually really like this knight on e6 supporting the d-pawn. Although this d-pawn could be a long-term target. Actually, both d-pawns could be long-term targets. I'm envisioning the bishop maneuvering to f2. Honestly, the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm liking white's position. I'm envisioning the queen going to b5 to defend and pressure. White's going to put a rook on c1. Yeah. Seems like the setup for both sides is pretty clear. I think I pick white here, though. Just because the d4 pawn seems like a goner long term. Let's say plus 0.7. Hey, not too far away. Almost plus 1. Yeah, around plus 1. Sometimes when I'm reading the engine lines, I'm scanning to see the eventual setup. I guess I could hover over too. But you see like white's next move is most likely queen b3. Or rook a3 to defend d3. But then also queen b2 to pressure d4. Okay. There's a question, is there any titled or tilted Thursday happening? As opposed to titled or tilted Thursday. That was yesterday. Today is Friday. Okay. There's already one draw in the ladies. Let's move on to the other games. I checked this game at the beginning of the stream. Wei Yi seemed pretty well prepared in the opening, but at the same time he sacked a pawn and it wasn't clear how he was winning it back. I guess he just plays knight d7 and c-pawn is a target. Giri tried to hold on to the pawn. This is interesting. So Giri is defending the pawn twice. Seems like black can't take it, but Wei Yi disagrees. He takes it and then pins and probably just winning back the knight. Rook c8 to follow. Giri really trying to hold on, but after takes and takes and takes, game actually simplifies a lot. b6 stabilizes the bishop. Maybe there's some small edge for white, because eventually black's going to have isolated pawns on the queen side. But I think this is much closer to a draw. I'm going to guess plus 0.1. Let's go. Okay. For a moment it said plus 0.1. Now it's equal. Okay. And that was probably the simplest position I had to evaluate so far. Oh, I don't have the eval bar turned on. Do people... When I turn on the engine, I guess I could enable eval bar. Which is this. It's just equal. Not the most exciting eval bar here. Oh, actually... Oh, he didn't have to take back with pawn. Yeah, it takes with queen and... Yeah, it's just equal. Okay, moving back to the Hikaru versus Sindarov game. I think this is maybe the spiciest game of the round. Actually, one of the most critical games of the round for the overall standings. And we saw Hikaru sacrifice not one, not two, but 3 pawns in the first 14 moves of the game. And yeah, we were analyzing earlier in the stream with Irene and Mike. Irene seemed optimistic about Hikaru's chances. I think we last left around here. Rook AD1. So this has a threat of takes, and back rank checkmate. Sindarov plays knight f5. Yeah, as black, you just want to trade, simplify, not blunder anything, and be up 3 pawns. Trade of knights happens. Queen f4. As white, you want to just go for the throat. Take advantage of black's lack of development on the queen side. And after queen f4, oh, Hikaru spent, what, just over 3 minutes to play this move. A massive time discrepancy between these two players. Which is usually a sign that, like, Sindarov was more prepared. Hikaru, perhaps not so confident. I think this is a game I'm most reluctant to turn on eval. I prefer living in mystery. Maybe chat maybe has a better idea than me if you're watching the game with the eval. Okay, I'll talk through my candid thoughts before I check. So material, Hikaru is still down 3 pawns. I mean, the valuation really comes down to the question, can white create concrete problems for black on the king side? Like, is there a way to go for a mating attack? Is there a way to somehow win back material? And the answer doesn't appear to be so clear. Like, what is white even threatening here? Like, let's say bishop e6. Like, white has a bishop pair. I guess bishop e6 allows bishop takes b7. As Mike was saying earlier, when you're up 3 pawns, you can sometimes afford to sacrifice 1 or 2 and still be up material. It seems like this is still a candidate move. I guess there's like takes, rook d8, bishop c7 with a double attack. Will Sindarov take a 4th pawn? I guess c5 is unhanging. It's interesting. I feel like this is a type of position, if I was white against Sindarov, I would get crushed. And if I was black against Hikaru, I would also get crushed. But I would definitely prefer to be black. Like, be up material, maybe have some flexibility in giving material back. Yeah, I'm not sure if bishop e6 is actually a great choice. But then how else do you actually complete development? Because bishop d7 has the same problem with eventual bishop c7. So maybe some queen move, like queen a6? Or knight c6. Well, knight c6 to d4, actually. Yeah, I'm realizing the queen has to stay defending the pawn. Knight c6 also does some job in blocking this bishop. Okay, so let's say, I'm going to say -1. I think there is some compensation for white, but not enough. Let's say -1, and my move would be knight c6. Let's see. Okay. Knight c6 is one of the only moves. Actually, I swear I was not looking at chat when I suggested knight c6. But that's actually kind of spot on. Knight c6. Sindarov has to find, otherwise black's not better. Although knight c2 has a similar idea. But this is clearly more useful. Wow, so I don't want to analyze too much with engine. I will say though that when you see a valuation of -1 in a position like this, it's hard to say that like Sindarov is in super good shape, but he's definitely doing well. But anything can change in the span of a single move. Like if Hikaru can use a G file, it could be a difficult position for black to defend. Having said that, I mean the time situation is so much in Sindarov's favor. Okay. Let's do a couple more guess evals. Fabiano against Bluebaum. There are only 16 moves into the game. Yeah, so going forward in the opening, Fabiano getting nice setup on the king side, gets rid of this outpost on e4, does concede the bishop pair. Pawn storm is in full effect. Up about 20 minutes. I mean, I am biased. Like I'm rooting for Fabiano. I think like the fact that he was more prepared in the opening should give him better chances in this middle game. But if we look at the position as it stands, yeah, in terms of king safety, like white has a much safer king. Maybe a little bit of awkwardness with the setup, bishop on d2, knight on e3. Bishop e5 is probably a good sign that like, black's also kind of awkward. As white, I would want to just take my bishop off the board so I could play queen takes e4, the pin on the d file. That seems like a very rich position for white to work with. Like, there's a lot of ideas that come to mind here.
Really
of course, the eventual
your
break.
calm and chill analysis, Eric. Hope you can
Thank
do
you,
a few
followers.
more of the candidates games.
Thank you. I hope so too. Yeah, one of the main goals in general when you pawn storm is to open files. So you want to like trade off h pawn or f pawn, and then use the eventual open or half open files for the queen and rooks. It is a question how to execute it. Just briefly looking at g5, knight g4, but generally you don't want to commit to a move like g5 because the bishop wants to have some scope. And bishop e1 comes to mind. To threaten queen takes e4, also reroute the bishop. What's been your favorite game so far? So far this round, I assume you're referring to this round and not the whole tournament, but this round it's the Americans, like Fabiano and Hikaru, I think have two of the most interesting and spicy openings. But again, I guess I am slightly biased. I'm trying to understand this last move from Black, bishop e5. Right, does he really want to play rook f4? Also, the rook can't retreat. A difficult position to kind of wrap my mind around. Let's say plus 0.4. Like I prefer white, but I'm not seeing anything like super clear. +1. Wow, that's good for Fabi. Like Fabi, if he can win today, not only does he stop Bluebaum's sweep of drawing everyone, but he can potentially get closer to Sindarov. It's assuming Sindarov doesn't like beat Hikaru. Okay, king b1 was not one of my immediate considerations. Like king b1's a very typical move. A type of move Fabiano probably should consider. Not only does it make the king even safer, it ensures queen a5 doesn't hit a2, but it prepares bishop c1, unleashing the rook and keeping the bishop on a kind of useful square. I just want to check, bishop e1, is this playable? Bishop e1 throws away the whole advantage. Hopefully Fabi doesn't play that move. There's a question from Tickle Attack. How can Sindarov have so good prep every game, even if he plays black? Well, first of all, prep comes from hard work. And he probably put a lot of time, effort, energy, resources into preparing for this tournament. I think it's pretty clear he has a team of seconds helping him. So sometimes if you have a good team of people who are extremely knowledgeable about modern openings and also skilled at preparing again or preparing for specific players, then that's what can lead to opening successes. I have some experience with this at a much lower level where I do all my prep myself, but it's one of the areas I enjoy the most. When you take deep dives into openings that you play, very often you can predict what might happen in your games. And if you are able to predict the opening and you're armed with very deep engine ideas, then sometimes, maybe not all the time, but a significant portion of the time it can pay off and you can get the early advantage. Having said that, it's not easy to do consistently in a tournament like this where everyone is super well prepared. I will say though, given the tournament situation, maybe given what Hikaru said in whatever his recent video or podcast, given the tournament situation, Hikaru is playing more ambitiously to try and win today. And in doing so, he's taking more risk. And I think that's what allowed Sindarov to come out of this opening with the advantage because Hikaru took a risk and so far it has not paid off. Like Sindarov was more prepared for this line. Maybe the attempted surprise from Hikaru backfired. And okay, Hikaru plays King H1, so apologies if I'm switching between the games too quickly, but yeah, this is probably the spiciest position of the round. I'll do my best to address questions too. There's actually a question about the Fabiano game. Is C4 a bad idea? Or is it a good idea? C4 is definitely a resource. Like when you have specifically this structure against a structure, very often you look to play the pawn break to pressure d5, open the d file. The drawback of c4 is you open the bishop, b2 becomes a target. Might be walking into some idea queen b6. I would be very hesitant to play c4 just because it gives the bishop more scope. Also, yeah, queen b6 not only hits b2 in that line, but also pressures a knight. And there might be bishop f4 coming. Yeah, with every move that's played, there can be changes in the position, and always have to acknowledge what those changes are, like good or bad. In this case, c4, the intentions are good, but the consequences might be bad. I guess I'll quickly check with eval and see if it's playable. It is playable. Actually, it's very playable. Queen b6. White has two c-pawns, so then the other c-pawn can move. Bishop's still blocked. Bishop f4. Oh, this doesn't work at all because takes hits a rook. White's not losing material. Okay. Okay, so yeah, c4 is a candidate move. That'd be cool if Fabi plays it. It's a very concrete move, so it does deserve calculation. Like my first impression was it's a positional mistake, but if White can fend off Black's initiative, then yeah, maybe Black's under pressure. There's a comment, let's see, Hikaru or Pragg game. I give Hikaru's game a lot of attention. I have not given Prague's game almost any attention. This is the one game I really haven't looked at so closely. I think I only saw the first few moves. Yeah, I made the comment earlier that Pragg is playing Hikaru's like blitz weapon. Hikaru likes to play this setup in a lot of speed games online. Very solid. It's the type of opening which very often avoids theory and can be used to just try and get fresh positions. I did go through a phase of playing this from the white side. I vaguely remember some ideas of like queen c2, a3, and then you don't castle, but you play h4, knight g5, and attack on the king side. Looks like Pragg is playing a more solid positional approach. Yeah, d4. And one of the benefits of this specific pawn structure is if Black ever takes on d4, then it's a dream position for White to play against this isolated queen's pawn. d5 is a long-term weakness, and yeah, position of this would be very difficult to deal with as Black. So Black wants to keep the tension, so if White ever takes, you can take back with the pawn and have The so-called hanging pawns refers to pawns that have no neighboring pawns on the adjacent files. And these pawns could still be targets, but they also can be strong because they control more space. So we see the tension remain for many moves. Bishop a6. Interesting, preventing rook c8. Okay, so white is making the basic improvements. Both players plop their knights in the center. Bishop finally retreats back to the center. Yeah, I like the way Pragg is playing. Very controlled. I like white's piece harmony a little bit better than black's. Black is still very stable, but just the long-term pressure of the bishops. I actually like the pawn on f3 restricting the knight. This bishop is very passive. The pawn and bishop create the battery to support the knight. So I'll do a quick guess eval. Plus 0.3. I don't think it's a huge advantage, but I think it's more pleasant for white. Okay, plus 0.5. I feel like I've done decently well for the roundabout of guess eval. But again, I lean towards not reading too much into the engine evaluation, or not using the engine evaluation too much when watching the games. There's a question from Fallers. Have you had much experience being a second yourself? I feel like you'd be good at it with your tricky offbeat opening prep. Yes, I have. Not for any, I don't think I've ever been a second for a grandmaster. But I've been a second for like strong players in very notable tournaments. Sometimes informally, sometimes it's like just a game, or just a single matchup, or it's an opponent that I'm trying to scout out. But it's a job I actually I'd probably like to do more of. Because to be honest, I really enjoy preparing for specific opponents and finding gaps in players' opening repertoires, finding new tricky ideas with modern engine preparation. And I've had decent success helping players in the past with opening preparation. There's one notable tournament I was helping a friend, and we were preparing for a player that we couldn't find too many games of. But I did some very deep digging. I found their anonymous online account. And then I targeted a very specific opening that they played online where they've blundered. They've made the same mistake multiple times. And I created a whole repertoire based on this opening variation where the opponent was likely to blunder. And then the opponent expectedly went into the same line, blundered, and my friend got a winning position within 10 to 15 moves of the opening. And it was pretty rare line too, so it was one of the better opening prep stories. But there's a lot of facets to opening prep where, part of it is just working on your own repertoire and making sure that you're prepared for main lines, you're prepared for surprises. But then the other part is actually understanding your opponent, what their knowledge base is, maybe steering the game into certain lines or types of positions where they might be likely to be less comfortable. And there's a whole metagame behind it, which I don't talk too much about in my content, but it's something I'm very passionate about. And that's why it's actually super interesting to see how the openings unfold in the candidates. especially when players have like months to prepare for each other. Yeah, the last time I played Hikaru on chess.com, actually the last couple of times, I caught him in some opening prep. The most recent time he complimented my my prep. It was my London idea against the Dutch. I got a winning position but couldn't convert. But then the previous time I played him, maybe I can go on a small tangent. I played the Cambridge Springs against him. The video is on YouTube. And after I played him, because he was streaming too, he said my opening prep was, or maybe not the opening prep, but he said the opening was garbage. But he walked into like exactly my full prep of how does this go? He played knight d2, I played bishop b4, he played queen c2, I played e5. e5 is objectively dubious. But I've had 0 games where players play the right engine line. I played this against like a lot of GMs. I think Hikaru took, played knight e4, and then he took on e4, which is already slightly inaccurate. Now, he still beat me. That was a game that I think it was a dead draw. Hans Niemann was commentating. It's somewhere on my YouTube channel. Yeah, the best moves are knight b3 or cd5. I'm still waiting for the Cambridge Springs to make an appearance in the candidates. Because there's been a couple games so far where players, I think it's Pragg-Sindarov playing this early semi-Slav. Of course, today, yeah, maybe if Hikaru played knight f3, I wonder if Sindarov would have gone for Cambridge Springs. Then Pragg against Bluebaum too had this position, but Bluebaum played e3. I think the last time the Cambridge Springs was played in the candidates was Gelfand Carlsen. Was it the first time Magnus qualified to play the World Championship? Magnus won with black. The game featured, can we find it in Lichess? Here it is. Yeah, the game featured cd5, knight d5. It was a beautiful game. It's like very nice positional game by Magnus. Anyway, enough tangent. Let's get back to current position. Also, thank you, Mamoto. Appreciate the super chat. I do appreciate everyone being here. I probably won't stay around for too much longer, but I hope people are at least learning a thing or two. I'm going to take a small break. I'll take a small break. I'll be back in a few moments, so stay tuned. I think I'll just leave this game up and BRB. Okay. I'll do my best to catch up in chat. Sometimes when I go on these tangents, I just stop looking at chat. Also, maybe this game deserves more attention than chat. Thank you, Buzzband. Happy 19 months. Why does Eric live in a desolate black void? It's a green screen. If you want to see behind the scenes, I have a different scene. This is my thing. I could turn off the green screen. This is what the camera looks like. Got some natural light coming in through the window. I've been going through phases of using and not using the green screen. I think for the majority of my streaming days, I've used a green screen. I just prefer the cleaner layout. I thought you lived in space. I'll maybe be going to space if we can get Mike Klein to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Let's check his sub count. And then we'll get back to the chess. Mike Klein up to 131. Okay, so we got him, what, about 80 new subs? Okay, let's recap what happened here. So Sindarov went for this knight maneuver. Hikaru sliding his king over, trying to use the g-file. Knight d4, good outpost for the knight. Rook g1, aligning with the king. Yeah, there might be some ideas, like if Black's not careful, there might be ideas of, yeah, there's definitely ideas of sack the rook and not mouse up the queen, but checkmate. So that's why Black played g6. And bishop d5. Wow. So I want to see the time usage by Sindarov, because sometimes it's telling if he's like comfortable or uncomfortable. So 8 minutes to play knight d4, 7 minutes to play g6. Hikaru is upping the tempo. Also, because he kind of has to. It's below 15 minutes now, with no increment to make 18 moves. And these bishops are doing work. The f-pawn is pinned, so there might be ideas of like queen h6, rook takes g6. Hikaru wants to sack the rook. What do you think the position is now? I'm not sure. Yeah, I was going to say bishop e6 is like probably the most logical move. It gives a b pawn, but if white takes on b7, something's gone wrong that like the king's going to be safe. I'm wondering if white can exploit like these dark squares, because this is the only dark square bishop on the board. And generally it is a very, very good thing if you have a dark square bishop and the opponent has all their pawns on light squares like this. And the problem for Hikaru, the bishop's a little bit misplaced, and to play this and this, I think is just too slow. Also, the rook's very often gonna hit e5. Bishop takes b7. So I said that if Hikaru takes on b7, something's gone wrong. However, I was looking at similar lines earlier. If rook d8, bishop c7, Hikaru, is he winning back material? Thing is, even if he wins rook for bishop, Black still has extra pawns. This pawn is not defended and attacked. I still take Black here. Especially still given the time situation. Okay, Hikaru took on b7, spending less than a minute. Squirtle Hermit says, feels like Hikaru's been 1 to 2 tempo behind from a win the whole game. That's actually a good way of putting it. And at top level chess, it can very often come down to like 1 or 2 tempi determining who wins a game, especially in the very short positions. Players sometimes need to walk a tightrope. So far, Sindarov is walking that tightrope seemingly quite smoothly. So tempi is spelled T-E-M-P-I. It's a plural of tempo. It's chess jargon. So tempo refers to the time it takes to play a single move. Or sometimes it's referring to like the time that you gain if you make your opponent waste a tempo or spend a tempo. Tempi refers to multiple moves or the time it takes to play multiple moves. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Also, did not see this coming. Counterattack. Was completely oblivious to this. Did anyone see this coming? It's maybe what happens when I'm not watching with the engine. It was like 92. Not on my radar. Again, black is up 2 pawns. So black wants to simplify. Okay, it makes sense. Sindarov. And Sindarov only spent a couple minutes to play 92, so that indicates confidence. And I do want to note that when he was beating Fabi, he didn't slow down. Like, he played very quickly, confidently, accurately. And he might be giving Hikaru the same treatment here. Okay, Chad is pointing out something very wise. Queen h6. If the rook is taken, Hikaru can say, oh no, my rook. Someone call an ambulance, but not for me, because white is mating by force. This is kind of what I was alluding to with the dark square weaknesses. White having dark square bishop. So queen h6 is a nice way to save the queen and create additional threats. This rook is still attacked. Not to mention, the knight is kind of loose on e2, like rook ge1, maybe at some point. Hikaru plays queen d2, so he wants... What does he want? To trade queens? No attack? He might want to simplify into some kind of opposite color bishop ending. Or maybe it's holdable. He spent... It doesn't look good for Hikaru. Okay, queens are off the board. No mating attack on the dark squares. Sindarov's still playing quickly. A fancy trade of rooks. I assume black takes. Wow, we're basically seeing takes. How many captures in a row? So takes. Black is up 4-on-2 on the king side. But with opposite color bishops, yeah, maybe there's chances. Double pawns don't help out black's long-term chances to make like a dangerous pass pawn. So Sindarov is pausing here. But he takes the thing. King takes g1. Let's do another guess eval. I assume most people know this, but the numbers that are given by the eval bar essentially refer to the number of pawns one side has as an advantage. So if it's +1, it's basically as if you're up a pawn. So naturally, you would think this position is going to be -2 in black's favor because black has 2 extra pawns. Ooh. Trade of rooks. Wow, trade of rooks. This is very surprising. Wait a minute. Hikaru's not winning back the A pawn. This is completely winning for Sindarov. I'm missing something? Wait, what just happened? Ah, I wonder if Hikaru missed rook to e8, where there's a pin and white has nothing better than to trade rooks, because white can't actually win the c5 pawn and is losing c4. Ouch. Yeah, rook to e8 is super strong, so basically wins another pawn. They trade rooks going into the opposite color bishop ending. Now we can do yes eval. It's probably minus. I mean, based on the pawn count, it's -3, but it's probably like -5 or 6. I mean, it's completely winning for black, I assume. Let's check. Yeah. Oh no, my Hikaru. What's going to happen? Black is going to at least get the pawn to a4, walk the king either this way, or eventually make a passed pawn on the king side, and white's going to be spread thin, and yada yada. Sindarov's going to go 4.5 out of 5. What a start to the tournament. Can we go back? Like, what was... So Hikaru... According to the engine, Hikaru was worse, but not completely losing. Like, around here... I assume king h1 was fine. There's some weird difference between king h2 and king h1. Trying to understand what that difference was. Just going forward here. So Sindarov's like in full control here. Hikaru has nothing. Bishop e6. Knight e2, yeah, best move. We wanted queen h6, but... Wow, black can play queen c3, preventing bishop e5, threatening mate in 1. Rook still attacked. Okay, so that's why Hikaru played queen d2. Yeah, no hope. Hikaru, with this loss, he's gonna fall below 2,800. Actually, after this game, or after this round, Fabiano, I think, will be the number 2 player in the world by rating on the live ratings list. It might be contingent, though, on whether Fabi wins. Car was rated 2801.7 before this game. Okay, he's playing it out. We should remember the the first round game, Hikaru nearly saved the Opsicar bishop ending against Fabi. So you never know. What move took Hikaru from -1 to -3? So apparently King H1 was not right. Like, and this is maybe based on some deep engine line. I guess I could dig though. Like, what is the difference between King H1 and King H2? The engine wants King H2, which feels less natural because when the knight comes here, this is check. Okay, this is what the engine wants. Rook takes d4. Sack the rook. That's so hard to do when you're already down so much material. And you're still objectively worse, but at least here the knight is gone. I still don't know the difference between the king placement, though. Maybe there's lines where, like, queen c3 isn't as dangerous because the king helps control h3. But this is how the engine plays. Some practical chances for white. Again, still better for black with perfect play. So we can compare this to king h1, knight d4, takes rook g1. This is a difference. So this line, because the king's on h1, black has a resource that he wouldn't have if the king's on h2. Rook e1, pinning the rook. If the king was on h2, let me show it. So in this position, with the king on h2, this doesn't pin the rook. Rook e1's terrible because then it walks into rook takes g7 with the forced draw. So that's why. That's really hard to calculate, even if you're Hikaru, to make the judgment in such a deep line where you have to see the exchange, you have to see this resource. Okay. But this is actually a very common type of thing that players have to do when working with the engine, because the engine just spits out moves. It doesn't explain the exact nuances of maybe why certain moves are played over others. And sometimes it's a skill in itself to understand the subtleties of the stockfish moves. And very often the way you understand them is by asking questions, by playing out variations. Anyway, current position, -6. Yeah, it's only going to get worse for Hikaru. Let's switch to Fabi's game. Wait a minute, did Fabi play c4? There was someone in chat that suggested c4, and I immediately said it's probably not a good move, but Fabi played it. We did check this with the engine, and it is playable. It keeps white's advantage. Queen b6 was played, and c3. Yeah, so this is what I checked. Fabi's time advantage is gone. I think he's down on time for the first time in the game. Also, like, given the turn situation, given that Sindarov is beating Hikaru and gonna be on 4.5 out of 5, I think it's crucial that Fabiano keeps pace and beats Bluebaum in this game. But still very much of a fight. Oh, Brigham took this picture of Fabi. Oh, let's go. Can I enlarge it? Fabiano? A nice photo. I think this is a relatively new feature on Lichess with the player profile photos. Thank you, Brigham, for contributing your photo. Yeah, I've actually been meaning to like look into how to contribute some of my photos. I assume they have photos of like all the players and candidates, but sometimes with other broadcasts, photos can sometimes be in demand. Okay, I'm probably not going to stream for too much longer, but want to make sure of a few things here. There's some setting in YouTube I need to do like before I end the stream. I want to make sure it redirects to another stream that's covering candidates. Hikaru resigned. Oh no, my Hikaru. So final position. Yeah, white's being spread thin. After king takes, it's actually a very simple win. The king just sprints to b3. If white wins, white could even win 2 pawns on the king side. But the bishop and pawn always defend each other. Eventually, white has to sack this, and it's just over. Black will win the pawn and promote. Should we stay with the FABI game? I mean, this is like the next most critical game for the tournament standings. They are not even halfway to making it to move 40. And players only get the additional time after move 40, including the increment. So we could see a lot unfold in the next 22 moves. And there is a chance the game doesn't make it to move 40. There was a question, why is queen a5 better than queen a6? I think queen a5 keeps some eye on d5, which is a focal point. You don't mind you're aligning with the bishop because c-pawn obstructs the bishop. You're also still hitting a2. So it makes sense. Yeah, with queen a6, you might be allowing like takes and the rook's undefended if takes. Did Hikaru forget or confuse his preparation? The nice thing is Hikaru's doing recaps. Hopefully he doesn't stop his recaps, so maybe he'll give some insight in his next video. It is tough though when you're not having a good tournament to continue doing content. I've been there before. It's not easy balancing like playing and like recapping the games. Sindarov's live rating. It's climbing. Sindarov is currently number 6 in the world. I'm looking at 2700chess.com. Doesn't look like they've included the result from today. But Sindarov will be in the 2760s after today. 2765. Up to 5 in the world. He passed Keimer with his win. And Hikaru falling below 2800. Oh, I see multiple people saying Queen A6 was actually better over Queen A5. This is another moment to maybe dig into to try and understand. Man, this looks so much more natural. And again, Queen A6, why not take? Because I don't think A2 is a big problem. For the sake of time, I'll check and I'll try and explain. Wow, Fabiano's like much better, and he played the best move H5. Again, maybe the engine is spoiling the fun, but it's also maybe giving confirmation and clarity into what's actually happening here. So Queen A6. My first question is, takes? Ah, Rook F4, in between
Love
move,
to
hitting the
watch the new
queen.
young players.
And then take on, okay, fair enough. But that doesn't explain the difference between Queen A6 and Queen A5. Because the engine's still spitting out H5. So is there some... So it's +1 in this position, but in other positions it's like plus almost 3. Also, thank you, FB3 the third. Welcome back. Happy 74 months. So what I'm doing here, I'm playing through the engine line, trying to understand the difference. So if we play out the same line here, G5, knight takes D4. What? Knight takes D5, crushing. Take and take. So why does this not work in the other line? So I kind of have to go back and forth. Take. There's queen takes C. So in this very specific variation, there's queen takes C4. There's even H6 because the queen helps support H6. That's insane. So Bluebaum would have had to like see the fact in the sacrifice line, the queen does more good on A6. This might actually happen. Like G5 is such a natural looking move. As black, you might just try and play quickly and quote unquote hope that this doesn't work. I mean, you could also just overlook it too. Because white is down a bishop here. It's like not immediately clear why black is so crushing. I guess the rook is just stuck. There's no rook F4. Again, if the queen was on A6, there'd be queen takes E4 and everything's stable. But this is completely unstable. Rook takes D5 is coming. Oh my gosh, look at this line. Queen takes A2. Turn off the engine. Queen takes A2, white to move. Oh no, my queen. Someone call an ambulance. But not for me. That's a Rosen trophy. Pawn checkmate. G5 played. Are we gonna see a queen sack? Is Fabiano gonna try and keep pace? Will he be the first player to take down Bluebaum, the pre-tournament favorite? Referring to Bluebaum, not Fabiano. Knight takes D5. He's spent over a minute. But he spent a long time on H5, so he may have already been calculating this. And it is a type of position, like if you spot this and you think you're sure of it, you double check it, because if it works, it's winning. Like really all you need to see is takes, 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 and black has nothing. I wonder if at any point Bluebaum will regret not having played Queen A6. Like at what point will that maybe crystallize in his mind? I mean, to be honest, this is not the first move I start looking at, but I think at the top level you consider moves like this, because if they work, then it's game over. And the idea of the eventual queen sack is so nice. I guess the queen covers d8, so white is maybe not immediately threatening queen takes e4. But you could take advantage of the fact if the queen moves away from d8, then you're ready to sack the queen for mate. Question, I don't understand how black can be lost. Is it that bad? Yeah, on the surface, it still looks really complicated. The reason why black is getting crushed here is because basically white has an unstoppable threat of rook takes d5. And this rook is completely stuck. And you can't take back with a pawn because rook d8, again, this mating concept with h6 checkmate. Rook takes c4, I assume allows rook takes d5 with the fork. And then rook d8 is also coming. The bishop helps support the square. Like everything is getting attacked. And white's king is safe. And yeah, it's just black has no resource, no defense, no counterattack. Because once rook takes d5 happens, everything crumbles. And it doesn't matter, black is temporarily up a bishop. What about bishop d6? Bishop d6, I assume takes, and there's 3 things attacked. So hopefully that makes sense. Fabian is still thinking here. I feel like if Sindarov had this position, he would play this within like 2 or 3 minutes, just given his form and confidence. What would be the alternatives to knight takes d5? That's a good question. I mean, cd5 looks very natural. King b1 also, if you think he's in a spot to slow play and not take risk. I guess I can check like how good are these alternatives. C takes d5 is still very good. King b1 better, but not winning. Do you think the fact that Fabi's in the think tank suggests that he's trying to evaluate the sack? I think that's almost certainly the case. Like, given the fact that there's still 21 moves away from getting bonus time, this is a spot where you only take time in a situation where it's super critical, and it's a case where if you play the sacrifice and you're winning, then it's worth investing the time. I'm just a little bit surprised that he's spending
My
So
pup
much
is
time here.
fixated.
Oh, shout out to your pup, Alex Werner, welcome back. Shout out to all the dogs and cats watching, along with the humans. Any other animals watching? Any lizards, iguanas, horses? Yeah, YouTube gives me a lot of analytics, like YouTube and Twitch, but they don't give me analytics of the variety of animals that tune in. Occasionally people send me videos and or pictures of their pets watching me on their TV. It's usually very adorable. One whale, jumping spider, a few fish. Okay, so this is still current position. I do apologize, I have not given other games as much attention, but again, sometimes it's just easier to stay with the most exciting game too. C takes d5. Not the best move. It's very possible he saw both moves and was just trying to compare which one is more winning and maybe which one takes less risk. This is definitely the less risky option because he's not sacrificing anything. And we just checked with engine. I mean, this is also winning, but it's okay. Actually, plus, yeah, almost +2 is considered winning at the top level, but it could have been +4. Is there still the knight sack? So if c takes e5, there's still the sack, yes. And actually, this is less of a sack because it's something you win back right away. I assume, like takes, there's either rook e1 or bishop g5. Rook e1, rook d4, but bishop g5 is pretty clean. Rook d8 coming next. So according to the engine, it's best for Bluebaum not to recapture on d5, but to move the queen to defend the rook or play rook f4. Yeah, still expecting Fabiano to eventually clean up. Okay, I know this game is heating up. Maybe it's already on fire, but it's been a long stream for me. I have some other things to do today, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I really appreciate everyone tuning in, especially when there's so many different channels covering the candidates. Thank you everyone for keeping me company. Also, a big thank you to the special guests that joined earlier. Irene tuned in, Funmaster Mike Klein also tuned in from Cyprus, giving us on-the-ground report. So I do want to share that I will be making an appearance tomorrow on the Chess-Based India live stream. Sagar and Amruta have been covering candidates for Chess-Based India, so I'll be a special guest on their stream. I think maybe an hour, a couple hours into the round. So I won't be doing any coverage on my channel tomorrow. But for future rounds, very possible I will return. So stay tuned. Follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube if you want to get notified when I go live. I do also schedule my streams on YouTube ahead of time, so if you want to see my upcoming streams, you can go to my YouTube channel, go to the live tab, and see what I have coming up. Okay, thanks again. I'm going to send it over to the St. Louis Chess Club channel. They're live on YouTube. Let me just make sure they're live on Twitch as well. they do an abbreviated broadcast. I think they start a couple hours into the round. So
Is it chaotic?
here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So on YouTube, it's called a live redirect. On Twitch, it's a raid. So I'm wrapping up here. Thanks again, everyone, and goodbye.